ashes, we all fall dead.
You're listening to Paratalk Radio with Ted Wolf and Psychic Cindy on Paratalkradio.com. Paratalk Radio is your one stop for all things paranormal, the unknown, and supernatural. We cover topics such as ghosts, hauntings, UFOs, Bigfoot, and more.
Paratalk Radio is a product of Genesee Valley Paranormal Investigators. Paratalk Radio is on every Monday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time and 7 p.m. Central. You can find us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, iTunes, and YouTube.
We are on AHAM Radio Network and blogtalkradio.com. You can watch live video streams of Paratalk Radio on Facebook Live at facebook.com/Paratalk Radio. Paratalk Radio is recorded live at J. Wolf Studio in Ontario, New York. And you can contact us at tedgvpi@gmail.com.
Okay, John, hit him with the disclosure.
Some of the topics, discussions, and opinions expressed on the show may not be representative of Paratalk Radio, AHAM Radio Network, our hosts, or our sponsors. Some of the language used on the show may not be appropriate for listeners under 16. And now, here are your hosts, Ted and Cindy.
Hi, everybody.
Well, first off, let's just say hello, everybody, on Periscope. This is our second episode on Periscope, so thank you so much for joining us. Thank you for joining us. We are the only paranormal or Paratalk radio in the Rochester, New York area. Believe it or not, we're the only paranormal show in the Rochester, New York area. So we want to make sure we say that. Also, we are, if you've never seen Paratalk Radio before, we are the oddballs. We are the ones that...
one of these things are not like the other.
We're just the ones that, I don't know how to put it. We're just out there. And
That's
if you,
a good thing.
yeah, so if you enjoy, talking about the paranormal or horror or monsters or UFOs or even a little bit of conspiracy, then we are the ones to watch. We like to have a good time. We like to laugh. We like to have fun, and that's who we are. You can also find us. We're on Google Play. We're on iTunes. We're on TuneIn, Mixcloud. We are working on iHeartRadio right now, so we are actually expanding into other areas so people can find us. So thank you so much for joining us here on Periscope. Facebook, hello everybody on Facebook Live.
Hi Facebook, hi Mary, hi Robert, hi Kathy, hi Stephanie, hi Heidi.
Yep. So, tonight's going to be an awesome show. We have Linda Godfrey.
So excited about this.
She is the foremost...
She's the monster lady.
Yeah, she's the foremost authority on modern-day monsters in America. So she's going to talk to us about one of my favorite subjects, the werewolf or the Dogman. So
I am freaking excited about that because I want to learn more. Because I have to tell you, I'm not that adept.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because we've talked about it a little bit, but I can't wait for her to tell me about it.
Yeah, and we talked about adopting a werewolf baby last week.
Yes.
And
please send us money to adopt a baby werewolf.
It's $600, So, all right. So one of the first things I want to kind of bring up here is, in my day job, a gentleman came in and handed me this little card, and I think it's really cool.
I can't see, but I can do it close.
Yeah, it's for Wildlife Educators Coalition. I know it has nothing to do with the paranormal, but I think it's very cool. I like to push stuff like this as well as other, But anyways, 2018 Wildlife Festival. They're actually having a festival, and it's at the Letchworth State Park at the Artists and Vendors.
Awesome.
For Letchworth at Humphreys Nature Center.
Hey, Steve.
It is free. The festival is free. You do have to pay to get in the park, but the festival's free.
That's awesome.
Saturday, June 2nd from 10 to 4. They got some really cool animals, and there's a cockatoo, there's...
we used to have birds, big birds.
Alligators. There's a whole bunch of different things. I don't know if y'all can see it, but that's the card. But if you go to facebook.com, wildlife.educators.coalition, you will find it. They're on Instagram, YouTube, and Twitter as well. I love it. Yeah, so, and you can actually go to their website, which is www.rocwildlife.com. So check those guys out. I told them I would give them a plug today, so... check it out, and I will throw a link for that on the Paratalkradio.com as well as the Facebook one if anybody's interested.
So I have a couple things to plug, if that's okay.
Yeah.
I know you have to plug one, and I said I've got it covered, so I can plug it or you can plug it. Either way.
Go right ahead.
So that's the mansion, right? You want to do that one, or do you want me to?
Well, it doesn't matter. It's actually what I was going to do was I've actually got a list of Paracons and events that some of them we will be doing, and
right. Oh,
some local, so we can actually list some of these so that people can,
So I want everybody to come and see my teddy, my teddy poo poo,
me,
at the Historic Palmyra. Which one is it going to be at? Which museum? Do you know?
I don't remember, but it's on their website. But,
okay, good.
But it's at the
Historic Palmyra.
Historic Palmyra.
Historic Palmyra Museum.
Yep.
But that's May 17th, everybody. It's this Thursday.
Yeah,
so
from 7 o'clock
he's going to be doing book signings. So lectures. So come and buy some books, everybody.
Yeah, it's going to be on Old School Paranormal in the book.
I love it. Yes, here's Ted's book.
There's
one of
the
the
book.
books.
So I did an interview with Awakening the Paranormal last Thursday.
Yes, how did it go?
It went great. In fact, they are considering this the Paranormal Bible. So isn't that a very cool?
My little teddy poo-poo.
Yeah, so this is a Paranormal Bible by Keith and myself.
I love it. I think that's fantastic. It just shows, and I think that's a really good pat on the back.
Yeah.
I think that it just explains that you really know your shit.
Yeah. Between Keith and
I'm
I,
not
we
supposed
just
to say that anymore.
Well, Keith and I we worked hard on the book, and we just wanted to make sure the right information was out there.
Absolutely. So I think that's fantastic for you.
Before we get into any more of that, I just want to say hello to DJ Button, our sponsor. We want to make sure that everybody knows about digitalinkarts.com.
Fantastic.
The guy's fantastic. He labeled up our vehicle. He made the T-shirts for us for Paratalk Radio.
I don't have mine on. Sorry.
The guy is phenomenal with his vinyl and stuff. He's fantastic.
Amazing.
So digitalinkarts.com.
Maybe I'll have him do some Psychic Cindy T-shirts or something. Tank tops.
Yeah.
Cute little.
Oh, by the way, don't be surprised if on the back of your van you see something.
On the back of my van?
Yeah.
What did you do to the back of my van?
I put a Paratalk Radio sticker on your back window.
Well, just because I keep forgetting to do it, it's in my purse.
So I gave you another one, so now you got a second one.
Okay, June 9th.
Yep, June 9th.
June 9th, we're actually going to be at the Haldeman Mansion in Bainbridge.
It's Bainbridge, Pennsylvania. That is the...
not your average Paracon.
Now, I found out they got some really good guests there. The sheriff from Shepherdstown is going to be there.
I told you I wanted to go to Shepherdstown.
Yeah, so he's going to be there. Dan
Hot dog. I'm telling you right now. I'm putting it out to the universe. Listen, I'm calling it to me right now. That sheriff, I'm calling it to me. We're going to meet him. I'm going to talk to him.
Yeah.
We're going to hook up so that when we go to Kentucky, we're going to either on the way down or on the way back, we're going to go to Shepherdstown.
Cool.
I'm telling you right now, I'm putting that out. Because I want to so badly.
Sounds like a plan.
Okay.
Sounds like a plan. Anyways, I have Dan Class is going to be there, as well as Krista Cesare. The Haunted Boy of Geneseo is going to be there. So it's going to be. There's a lot of good names that are going to be at this event on June 9th at Not Your Average Paracon, and that's at the Haldeman Mansion in Bainbridge, Pennsylvania on June 9th. So make sure you join us there. Yes, I'm still congested.
He's still sick.
But
it does take a long time to get rid of it. But now I have a couple for myself.
Well, let's finish this.
Okay.
Can we do that?
Yeah, but I know there's one that's not on here.
Okay, then go ahead and tell me the one. Go ahead and add yours.
The one, where is it? Hang on a second. There she is. So, I actually won tickets to the Herkimer Gem and Mineral Show.
That is cool.
I was so excited about it, I have to tell you. And I don't win a lot of things. And I didn't say, hey, my name is Psychic Cindy, I have a show. She didn't know that until after I already had won. So I want to give a shout out to Herkimer Gem and Mineral Show. It's going to be July 18th and no, wait, that's not right. It is July 21st and 22nd, maybe. I have to look at my calendar really quickly. Yes, 21st and 22nd is the Herkimer Gem and Mineral Show. So,
and that's where it's
in Herkimer,
New York.
Yep, Herkimer, New York. It is. I'll get more information. We'll put it on for them.
Yeah, because we're going to start doing the Paracon events and stuff, listing them in the first half hour.
Yes. And
so now we're on June 22nd through the 24th.
June 22nd to the 24th is Days of the Dead in Indianapolis, Minnesota.
Yep.
August 3rd through the 5th. Central Paranormal Countdown at Pajama Factory.
Yes, it's at the Pajama Factory. Yeah.
So that's Williamsport, Pennsylvania.
Yep.
August 11th through. Listen, it's not me. I have to.
It's my
make
writing.
out his writing.
Right. Yeah.
So it's August 11th to 12th is Walker Stalker Con in Orlando, Florida. What? We're going to that?
No, I'd like to, but we're not.
Okay. I was like, wait, what?
Florida would be great, but yeah.
September 29th is the Supernatural Expo, Finger Lakes Mall in Auburn, New York.
That's the one. That
we
one we are going to be at the
wait, you don't have one on here that I do know that we're supposed to be going to, which is Kentucky.
Yeah, I don't have that on there yet. So
it's August 4th. I know we're
September.
September 14th through 16th.
Yes, we're leaving on the 13th, but we're
right.
So
because it's like Friday,
16th.
Saturday, and Sundays.
Sunday. Yes.
It's definitely the 14th through 16th. I know that.
Yep. So
now.
But June 9th is where Paratalk Radio is going to be. That's at the Not Your Average Paracon.
Yep, that's the first one we're doing.
Bainbridge, Pennsylvania. And then the second one I know for sure that we're at is the Supernatural Expo in Finger Lakes Mall in Auburn. Mm-hmm. We are supposed to be meeting with Stitches here. I think next
May
week.
29th.
Something next week after, we're going to be in Niagara Falls with Stitches.
Niagara Falls, bitches.
Well, so we'll get some more information on that too, and we'll get that out there. So
Yeah. So now I have a PSA.
Okay.
Public service announcement.
Uh-oh.
So
what are you talking about?
So last week I had a colonoscopy.
Oh. Yep, here we
go.
go.
I know. Listen, this may not be paranormal, but you don't want
weird...
It's
not paranormal, but...
You definitely don't want weird stuff up your bum.
Okay.
Except your colonoscopy exam. I'm telling you, everybody, if you need to have one, if your doctor's telling you, just go do it. It is not that bad. So you're going to poop a lot. Who cares? But just go do it. Take care of yourself. You have to take care of yourself.
Yes. You can't hunt ghosts. You can't do paranormal investigation unless you're here with us. So you've got to catch all these things ahead of time, so you're still alive and able to do this stuff with us. So
your mammograms, your colonoscopies, get this shit taken care of.
Yes.
Boom.
All right.
So that's my PSA.
So make sure now we are, like I mentioned earlier, we are on Facebook Live. We are on Periscope Live. Mm-hmm. And the new Periscope is periscope.tv/Paratalk Radio. We are on Blog Talk Radio. So that would be blogtalkradio.com/Paratalk Radio 2. And we really need to reach out to you guys. Make sure you share. Get it out to your friends. Let's get more listeners and all that stuff.
Absolutely. Please share. You guys want to win? I think by tonight. Tonight would be a great day to do sharing.
Yes, tonight would be an excellent day for sharing.
Because we do have some gifts to give away.
We have 2 books tonight to give away.
So from our guest, they're giving their books. She's giving a couple of her books away. So I think that you guys should be sharing away.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about our guest real quick. Now, our guest is Linda Godfrey. She is America's foremost authority on modern day monsters, and she's awesome. We had her on the show once before. What are you laughing for?
I love our guests.
Oh, okay.
Our fans.
Our fan base, yeah.
Robert says, can't get probed by aliens if your colon isn't up to date.
That's true. That's true.
And Mary says, shaking my head, Sin. Hi, Kristen.
All right. So, yes, we're going to be talking with Linda Godfrey. She is America's foremost, authority on modern day monsters, like I said. And the one that I think stands out the most with her is the Dogman, which is the
So
werewolf.
excited! I'm so
On
excited.
Paranormal News tonight, we actually have one about the Dogman later on. So
That's awesome.
yeah. So
Yes.
Linda has been on shows such as Inside Edition.
I used to watch Inside Edition.
She was on Monster Quest from the
Nice.
History Channel. I mean, she's been on quite a few shows, which is really good
That's
because
awesome.
of her knowledge of the monsters of modern day.
Mm-hmm.
She is the author of 18 books.
Wow.
So she's got a long list of that.
Holy moly.
June 29th and 30th, she's going to be at the Ghost Coast Paranormal Conference in Grand Rapids, Michigan.
Nice.
I can't even remember. Grand Haven, Michigan. Sorry,
See,
not Grand
it's
Rapids.
not just me.
Yeah, Grand Haven, Michigan. She was 10 years as a reporter and a columnist, and she was also a cartoonist, which is really cool. I want to talk
That's
to her
so
about.
cool.
And for a county paper, she has won several first place awards from the NNA, which is the National Awards
National
News
Newspaper?
Awards paper. Yep. And 26 years ago, she was the first one to report on the beast of Bray Road. So we got some really cool stuff to talk to her about. I think
That's
it's
so
going to be
cool.
really cool. She is just an awesome personality, awesome lady. We had her on the show once before, and she's just completely awesome. I love talking with her. In fact, I was going to talk to her about Scarefest. Hopefully we'll find out she's there, and then if she is, we'll come down, and we're going to be there anyway, so one way or
Yes,
another.
absolutely. So I have, hi, Amy.
Yeah.
I have, hi, Eric and Sheila. So I have people that are sharing already. Oh,
Good,
wait,
good.
happy birthday to who? Week until I hit 50. Oh, Kristen.
Kristen's birthday?
Kristen's gonna be 50.
That means colonoscopy time.
Go get your colonoscopy, girl. I'm telling you right now, it's not bad. It's fine. It's fine.
Yes, folks, we're a paranormal talk show, and that's what we're talking about.
Yes.
But we care about our
Hi,
listeners.
Eric. Yes, but I care about your butt.
I gotta say it. We're nowhere near the caliber that they are, but whatever. But it was funny.
Caliper, we're brakes now. We do not put the brakes on, so we're not calipers.
Caliber. But we were actually what should we say? We were told that we were somewhat like.
Oh, yes. Would you like me to tell them?
Yeah, sure. You can tell the story.
So, one of my friends.
Hold on 1 second. It
okay.
says, "Hey guys, Facebook was buffering. This is Sheila. Hi, Sheila.
Hi, Sheila. Are you on?
Actually, it's working fine on Cindy's phone. So
Yeah, sometimes it's yeah.
Well, I'm glad
But
you're on
I've been out and
Periscope.
back in. Hi,
All right.
Sheila. Hi, Periscope people.
All right, so make sure you share. Tell your friends. Okay, go ahead with your story.
So I had told one of my friends, she's like, because I said, hey, I got to get ready for my radio show last Monday.
Mm-hmm.
I got to go, Jet. We got to go. And she's like, wait, what are you talking about? Radio show? I'm like, yeah. I am the co-host on Paratalkradio. You can just watch it right through Facebook.
Yep.
And she's like, okay, I'll do that. I'm like, okay, awesome. Well, she couldn't watch it on Monday, but she watched it on Tuesday. So I saw her on Thursday again. And she's like, hey, you and I, we have to talk.
Uh-oh.
And I'm like, oh, geez, what? And she's like, hey, that was a great show. And she said, you guys were really funny. And I think you're better than Kimberly and Beck.
Oh, so she compared us to Kimberly and Beck.
Kimberly
That's
and Beck. I thought that was awesome.
That's funny. Well, folks, on our end, what we're trying to do is, just so you guys are aware, and we could definitely use your help, is we are trying to become more popular. We want more people to see the show.
We want to be liked by you.
And nobody else like you.
And everybody else like you.
But anyways, if you want to keep sharing, keep bringing people over, we would really appreciate it. We are Rochester, New York's only paranormal talk radio show, and we're pushing that. So,
Kristen says, and I do it Facebook Live colonoscopy.
Oh my God, no way.
Maybe not that
Maybe not.
far. I mean, we care about your butt, Kristen,
Yeah.
but maybe not. I maybe not want to see it.
Right.
Haven't heard of Kimberly and Beck. Well, Robert, Kimberly and Beck is a local radio
And they've
duo.
gotten in trouble though in the past. I mean, they've
pretty
pretty
had
much
to switch radio stations and everything because
because they were very
yeah.
Controversial. And they weren't nice to people.
They weren't nice to people.
Where we are.
Yes.
We just speak our minds.
Blimberly and heck. Now, people.
Yes, now. And I want to make sure you guys know that you can take us on the go now because we're on Google Play,
Heather.
we're on iTunes, we're
Yes.
on TuneIn, we will be on
Wait,
iHeartRadio.
did you hear that? Rewind. We are on Google Play.
Yeah, that's awesome, isn't
That's
it?
awesome,
Google
guys.
Play is
Go
huge.
on Google Play and go do Paratalk Radio. What?
Yeah. Well, they said it was going to be up in 24 hours, so
maybe not today.
So tomorrow, check it. So, yeah, we just got the confirmation today.
That's awesome, Sauce.
Zapper13, hello. Thank you for joining.
Hey, Zapper.
That's the only thing about Periscope I don't like is we don't know what their real names are. But if you're joining us here, don't be afraid to put your name, at least your first name, so we know who you are.
Right.
That would be great.
So Ted has Periscope and I have Facebook.
Yep.
So that's how we work that.
Yep. And now I know I was going to try and get old Dan from the Hinsdale house. I know they got events coming up, and I haven't done that yet. But I will get with Dan, and I'll get a list of stuff that they got going on.
Absolutely, because we want to support our local people. And,
You have to.
And our local haunted houses so we can keep, doing area events. Like we have the Virgin House. We have the Hinsdale House in Hinsdale, New York.
Yep.
So
There's
those are a
also
couple-
Rolling Hills in East Bethany, which is close.
Rolling Hills.
There's actually,
I want to do Rolling Hills one of these times, but I'm nervous because one of my friends went there and she actually doesn't remember part of being there, and she was doing stuff that she had no awareness of doing.
Oh, no kidding.
She was not there. Somebody else was there. Yeah, so it makes me a little nervous.
Ten and Need 7. Hello, thank you for joining.
Michelle.
So we have a lot of things that we want to talk about, and the biggest thing right now is, guys, we need your help to get more listeners and more people on the show. I know it sounds bad that we're asking, but we want you to share.
We're
We're
gonna pander to you. We'll pander.
Yeah,
we're fine with it.
We're a good team here. We got a good radio program, I think.
Yes.
And,
and we like each other.
Yeah, that's a good thing.
We do. And John, he likes me in front of my face. That's what he was saying.
Yeah, Sheila, what was the place? I know you're listening. Sheila has a place that she's been pushing to that has events.
Yes, Possession
I think
is
it's the tin something. What is that, Sheila? Tin something.
Hey, Marsha.
The Tin House? I don't know.
The Tin House, I love it.
I don't know. If she wants to send the information, we'll definitely get that on there too. So
did you do did you do the thing on Saturday?
No investigation on Saturday. I was all ready to go, and last minute they had a family emergency, so we couldn't.
Oh, you couldn't go because of their end, not your end. Okay,
right.
Well, that's good because I really wanted to go, but I wasn't able to.
Are you available Tuesday night?
It depends on my children's meets.
Okay, because Tuesday night we're going to be in Batavia.
That's Jansen's. So the normal schedule was Tuesdays are Jansen and Thursday was Jet.
Right.
But because it's getting to the end of the season and invitational, what is wrong with my mouth today?
Tongue in front of her eye teeth and can't see what she's saying.
That's right. Invitationals are starting to occur, and the schedule is bonkers now. Okay. So I have to check more closely with the coaches, to be precise, because a lot of them say TBA.
Right, to be announced. Yeah. Okay.
So, yeah.
Brooklyn Boy, hello. Thank you for joining Periscope.
We like them Brooklyn boys. I need to find... I should get Chris on here. I better tell Chris he needs to. Another New Yorker. Get those New Yorkers.
So I got to tell you that at work the other day...
Yes, mysteriously never visible John.
I had a young lady come into work, and she was from New Zealand.
New Zealand. Down under.
Yes, and she is going to... we were talking about Robert.
Oh, yeah?
And
she's going to go looking for you,
She doesn't know
right?
Robert, but because I thought she was from Australia, which is, real close to New Zealand.
Right.
And she actually was interested in the show, and she's going to take it back to her friends, and so that's going to be cool, too.
We're going to be in New Zealand, too?
I don't know. We're trying to get to England too, so we're.
Well, we have friends in England now.
Yeah.
Listen, Robert, I need you to help me out. I play Pokemon Go. Maybe you could get me some Pokemon from.
Did you check out any Robert's
Australia?
post, his live video feeds?
No, I haven't yet.
He makes jewelry with different types of stones. Opal, everything.
I want some fire opals from freaking Australia.
Yeah,
Because they have amazing fire.
Yeah.
Fire.
He makes jewelry. I mean, he has some.
I need to check you out, Robert. I mean, I'm sorry I missed it. I'm not on Facebook a whole lot because I have a crazy life. I was like, I have.
Just don't forget about Thursday. Don't leave me hanging on Thursday.
Well, like I said, that's normally a meet night, so I'm going to have to check and double check for you. And please, tomorrow.
She's going to make me cry.
I don't want to make you cry. So just double check with me, okay? Will you? Because
I will.
Call me, because I may not see my text messages for hours and days. It's terrible. I know. My friends know me.
990 join. Thank you for joining.
Who is it?
Onel.
Onel? Hey.
That's nice. From Periscope. Thank you for joining.
Awesome. Thank you.
We are brand new on Periscope. We want to build it, so let's see what happens. Blog Talk Radio. I can't stress this enough. We need to get our numbers up on Blog Talk, so we definitely want people to start hitting blogtalkradio.com.
Hit it, people.
It's blogtalkradio.com/paranormaltalk2. Get on there and get on there and help us. And the book is doing great. I mean, we got some good comments about the book, so
perfect.
That's going to continue on. So we got about 3 minutes before Linda comes on.
Hi, Marsha. Oh, hi, Marsha. I'm sorry I missed you.
Marsha.
I know. I love doing that. That's
Marsha.
Marsha.
So, paranormal news will be coming up here in a little bit. We're going to be talking with Linda Godfrey for a good
excited.
hour.
Oh my gosh, I'm so excited.
Hour and a half. It's going to be great to talk with her.
Yep.
Angel of Chaos, welcome back.
Hey,
Thank you.
Angel of Chaos, welcome back.
Yep. Thank you. And there's just going to be so much we're going to go over today. Some of the posts now, we have a new logo out that I made, which is really cool.
Did you guys see the new one?
We have a new logo. We're going to keep the old one too. That's not a problem. We're going to have them both. Just because I'm trying to advertise this more to get.
We need to do new pictures because my hair looks terrible there.
Oh, stop. I actually got a guy that's going to do some photos for us for free. We just have to advertise for him, which I think is great. So
I think we can do that.
I think we can too.
I think we can.
Yep. So.
Okay.
I'm trying to think of what else we should mention.
I think we should mention anybody who wants to give me free LASIK eye surgery. I mean, as long as you're reputable, I'm fine with it. Dr. Robbins, I would love it if you would give me free LASIK eye surgery.
Cuckoo Clock. That's a cool name. Cuckoo Clock. That's a pretty cool name.
That's
Welcome
awesome.
to Periscope,
Welcome.
Paratalk Radio. Thank you so much for joining us.
That's cool. Oh my gosh, cuckoo clocks are kind of scary though.
You know what? Those wind up Jack in the Boxes.
Oh my gosh, they're scary too.
those were, I don't know, those were strange. I could see a thing of Mungie popping out.
Oh my god, I'm telling you,
we should create a giant Jack in the Box and have him pop out. Wouldn't that be awesome?
That would be awesome.
Yeah, that would be awesome. A giant Jack in the Box with Mungie the clown, horror clown.
Could you imagine? Hi, Cal.
That would be awesome.
Oh my god.
And Enigma 8, thank you for joining Periscope.
Oh, it's a Star Clark tin shop in Mexico, New York.
Yeah, so
part of the Underground Railroad. Thank you, Sheila.
Yes, so
we'll have to get some information on events.
Actually, Sheila, if there's a website, put it on here, and then we'll post it on there, and we'll share it for you. That's not a problem. Now, I put it out there that I wanted to start listing the paranormal events and stuff, and I only got a couple, and they wanted me to do the research and finding their events, and I'm like, I'm not doing that. You want your event listed, you send us the information. I'm not going to go searching for it.
No.
I don't have enough time.
We don't have enough.
No.
Oh my gosh, we don't have enough time.
Town.
Listen,
hello, thank you. Rick Town, Rick W Town, I think.
Rick W Town, awesome.
Thank you so much. Thank you for joining the Periscope.
Heidi says, "Can anyone get a werewolf baby?" Well, as long
actually,
as you have
if you
the
go
dough,
on, but if they go on Paratalk Radio on Facebook,
yes,
there is a video there.
There is a video, but as long as you have the money, I'm sure you could get.
Yeah, and you can have it actually made to your
custom.
Yeah.
Yes, it's custom made. To
the only
what
problem
you
is they're
want.
like $600, but
They
still, I think it would be
yes.
great to have. But the lady, they show you how the lady makes it, the time, and all that
It's
stuff.
really cool.
It's very, very cool.
So listen.
And I think Linda Godfrey needs one.
So Heidi said, "Can anyone get a werewolf baby?" And Robert says, "Depends on how hairy the guy is, Heidi."
Robert is a card, man.
I love you, Robert. You crack me
Foolery
up.
5. I think I said that right. Thank you for joining Periscope, Paratalk Radio. It's our second time on there. We are a paranormal talk show for you that are on Periscope. Just wanted to let you know it's our second episode. We talk about everything paranormal, horror, conspiracy, UFOs, anything and everything that comes to mind. We're not your normal Paratalk Radio show. We are definitely different. So we like to have fun. But, oh, what? Who? Let's just check here. Hello?
Hello?
Hello, Linda.
Linda. Hello.
Hi, Linda.
How are you?
I'm good.
Hello.
We're
How
good.
is everybody?
We're very good. Thank you.
We're awesome.
Great.
I'm so excited to talk to you.
No, I think.
Me too. Yep. I think it's going to be an excellent night. Yeah.
Yeah, I think the last time, Linda, you were on, we had Becca here. So Becca's no longer with us, but we now have.
But we still love Bex.
We love Beck. She's
Yeah.
still a part of us in some areas, but we now have Cindy, who is our new co-host, and so it's going to be a first for her talking with you, Linda, which is going to be awesome.
I'm so excited, and I just can't hide it. I'm about to lose control, and I think I like it. Listen, I think in lyrics for everybody that doesn't know that yet.
Well, very nice to meet you. Very nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too. I want to know more.
Well, that's why we have Linda with us tonight. So
excited.
we talked about you in the beginning of the show and some of the stuff that you have that you're listed as America's most authority on modern day monsters.
Yeah.
We know that you have 18 books out, which is great. 18.
That's a 1 in an 8, people.
Yeah, that's a lot of books.
That's a lot of writing. Listen, I've tried sitting down to write my book.
Yeah. well, maybe Linda can give you the pointers.
Go ahead. What was that, Linda? Sorry.
Well, you know, it's nothing compared to. I was just going to say it's nothing compared to the just recently late great Brad Steiger, who was a friend of mine and who passed I think it was this last Friday. He had somewhere around 200 books. Some were co-authored, you know.
Wow.
But 200 books.
That's a lot.
Yeah, that's just like a book sheet. And they were all very good quality books, you know.
Wow.
Right. Hey, Linda, are you on your cell phone?
Am I on it? No.
Oh, okay. You were cutting in and
I'm
out
on
there. No, I was just curious.
Yeah, maybe I can get a little bit closer here, and I can turn up my volume if I need to.
Yeah, just a hair. It's just you were cutting it in and out, and we'll make sure we have a good
connection.
Yeah.
Okay, and I'm definitely, now that you mention it, I'm turning down, oops, I got the wrong thing. I turned on my camera instead of my button that I meant to. I'm just turning down my sound here real quick.
Okay.
So nothing keeps it going. I don't know why.
That's all right.
Ever trying to use a cell phone when trying to pay attention to something else and nothing does what it's supposed to?
We know what that's like.
Yeah. We've had some technical difficulties here.
Yep. So, folks, if you just...
I noticed we do have a... Oh, I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
I was just going to say, I noticed there's a slight gap between us. Is that
there's
something
a delay.
I should be watching for here?
Yes, there is a delay.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
Okay.
Perfect. Now, folks, if you just tuned in, we are here talking with Linda Godfrey. Linda Godfrey is one of the foremost authorities on modern-day monsters. She is the author of over 18 books. Some were on werewolves, haunting, and the paranormal, including The Real Wolf Man, American Monsters in Weird Michigan. And she's appeared on Inside Edition and History Channel's Monster Quest and many, many more. She's an awesome personality and person, like I said, and we're just so happy to have you here with us, Linda.
It's wonderful to be here. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Now, we had a blast the first time you were on with us. It was a great time.
Very true. Yeah, it was a lot of fun. I'm sure it will be again.
Yep, I'm sure of it too. All right, so why don't we get right into it if you want to? And I want to break in by saying to you, Linda, 26 years ago, you reported on the Beast of Bray Road.
Right.
Now, were you the very first person to bring that about, or?
Yes.
Wow.
I really was.
Now, if you're not sure of what the Beast of Bray Road is, there is a movie out about it.
Yeah, because I don't know if I know about it.
It is not accurate. It is not accurate.
But it's not accurate. Okay.
Oh, the movie is not accurate.
Yeah, the movie's not accurate.
Got it.
Well, it was a Bigfoot type creature, wasn't it?
No, not really. Are you talking about the movie or the actual creature that was being seen by people?
Well, I would actually like to talk about the actual creature and the actual Beast of Bray Road. I mean, I'd like to actually get into that a little bit and kind of fill in everybody with that, because I know that, like myself, I watched the movie and stuff like that, but I want to know more. I want to know the facts that you've collected,
Just
and
facts,
stuff
ma'am.
like that.
Well, the movie, I just have to preface this by saying the movie, if it was the movie called The Beast of Bray Road, was absolutely nothing like what happened. They basically took the name that I had coined for the beast and then made sort of a horror movie, where there's this little town and everybody's getting killed and mangled in different ways.
Right.
And nothing like that happened, I may assure you. It was very, very different.
Okay.
Hi, Todd. Hi, Christy.
So, let's get right into it. So, when did this happened? 26 years ago, and it happened where in?
Where in the world?
Yeah, where in the world? Bray Road, and what state is it?
This was in southeastern Wisconsin.
Okay.
About an hour southwest of Milwaukee, and maybe about 20 miles north of the Wisconsin-Illinois border. And in the center of Walworth County, and there's a little town called Elkhorn, where I had lived for a number of years and had just started working not too long before this all went down at the countywide newspaper, which was called The Week at the time.
Mm-hmm.
And Bray Road is about a 3 to 4 mile country lane that actually connects two kind of, they're not real super busy highways, but they're a county road and a state highway. So it's not a real isolated place or anything. It's not the sort of place where you would expect anything spooky or whoopy to happen.
Right.
So I was really surprised to hear that people were saying that this creature that they were calling a werewolf was being seen out on this road. And I laughed. I know I laughed at first because that just seemed absolutely ridiculous. And I was unfamiliar with Bigfoot or anything like that. I'd always had sort of an interest in Bigfoot and UFOs and that kind of thing. My dad was a sci-fi buff, so we always had science fiction books, and he had all the men's sporting magazines, that had the Bigfoot stories in them, written by Ivan Sanderson. So I had some acquaintance there. But to jump from that to what people were describing as a regular, running on its hind legs, shaggy-furred werewolf just sounded ridiculous to me.
Right.
But when I started investigating, the first place I went, one of the first places I went after I had heard this tip from a local school bus driver, was to the county animal control officer, because I was already working with him on another story about area puppy mills. And actually they've been finding around the county, not on Bray Road, but in kind of the far-flung corners, some garbage bags full of mutilated dogs. And they were trying to figure out what that was about,
Oh, my
too.
goodness.
Wow.
Turned out it probably didn't have anything to do. I know, it sounds awful. That part turned out to be probably discarded racing dogs, because we weren't all that far from an Illinois dog racing center. And also there were some people who were selling dog meat to put it as nicely as possible. And so, yeah, I know, it's disgusting. But that's probably what those were. But we were investigating that at the time. And I said to him, John, his name was John Fredrickson, have you heard about this thing people are saying that there's a werewolf out by Bray Road? And I was expecting him just to laugh. And he looked just kind of serious. And he pulled open his desk drawer. We were at his county office. And he pulled out a manila file folder that he, honest to God, had labeled werewolf.
Wow.
Now, that caught my eye. Because, when you have a county official with an official manila folder marked werewolf, that's news right there.
Right,
I mean, even if there had been nothing else, just reporting the fact that our animal control officer has a file folder marked werewolf.
Right.
And had stuff
awesome.
in it. It was not an empty file. And so what he had were notes he had taken, because people were calling him and saying something like, I saw this thing out by Bray Road. I don't know what it was, but if there was such a thing as a werewolf, this would be it, because they described something that was standing somewhere 5 to 7 feet tall, depending kind of on how they saw it or where it was, running on or walking on its hind legs. They said it had a wolf-like or German shepherd-like head with long fangs, that it had claws on the ends of its paws. It had a yellow-green eyeshine, which is typical for canids, so that was, all in line. It looked, it didn't really have like human parts. It didn't look like part Jack Nicholson or anything. Like you think of the werewolf with
Oh, God, that's funny.
That's funny.
There's that mental picture of Jack Nicholson, transforming in the woods, and it wasn't like that. It was 100% canine-looking thing with a tail and the bushy fur all over it, and just was shocking people. They were terrified. They didn't know what to think of it. Wow. And so he shared these people's contact information with me. And when I went out to visit them, because, after I talked about it with my editor, he said, as long as it's a county thing, that's news. We have to do it. So when I talked to these people, I thought, well, who knows what I'm going to meet? What kind of people are they? None of them were anyone that I knew, even though it's a small town. And they struck me right away as just very terrified, very down-to-earth, ordinary citizens. And there was a wide demographic. They ranged from, there was a high school student, there was an elderly woman who worked at a factory, there were white-collar, blue-collar, men, women, there was a small group of junior high kids who got chased by one. So it was a widespread group of people in terms of demographics. And none of them felt to me like they were lying.
Right.
And so you checked them out
it was just very,
Did you actually, I'm sorry to interrupt, but so these people were on the level as far as you were concerned?
Yeah, I went to their homes, I talked to them. Most of them, when they spoke of it, I could tell some of them were still, the ones that it had happened recently to, they were still really paralyzed. And they weren't, here's the other thing, it wasn't all just one recent thing where a whole bunch of sightings happened in 1 month. This stretched back to at least 1981. That was the earliest one that I talked to. And so I knew it wasn't just, a couple of kids just having a little fun just lately. This was a long-lived thing. And this was happening in 1991, 92, over Christmas and, over New Year's Eve weekend is when the story actually ran. And so 1981 was 10 or 11 years previous, and you had a full-grown creature. And most wolves will not live too much more than 7-8 years in the wild if it was a wolf or a large dog. So that was kind of impressive to me also. So we wrote the story, and I always believe in giving, and I still to this day believe in giving the eyewitnesses a choice of whether they want their name shared to the public or not, because they're the ones who, may receive phone calls and that kind of thing. And they all wanted to be anonymous, all except a couple of them, in the first main story that I wrote. But they later gave out their names to some other people, and pretty soon we just thought it would be, of interest for a couple of weeks locally. And as it turned out, partially because the witnesses decided to go public, we immediately had TV stations from Milwaukee and Madison, and then other radio stations started calling from everywhere. Inside Edition came out when Bill O'Reilly was still one of the reporters on Inside Edition.
Oh my gosh, I remember that.
Other TV shows. Yeah, it's hard to remember that far back.
It is.
But people also started trying to get a hold of me. And that was really before the internet had not developed into anything like it is now. At that time, nobody had Facebook pages. It wasn't invented yet. Right. And people had to get a hold of me. Exactly. People had to get a hold of me by writing or finding the phone number of the newspaper. And what I started hearing from people was, hey, that's not just a local thing. That happened here in our hometown. I saw it, or my grandma saw it, something like that. And I started realizing that it was not just an Elkhorn thing or even a Wisconsin thing. It was worldwide. I had a letter like that from the Virgin Islands. So it went not just national, but national in almost no time, which was also pretty interesting to me.
That's cool.
That there was so much. And in fact, there had been a similar outbreak in Michigan in 1987 that resulted from a DJ in Traverse City playing a ballad on April Fool's Day of that year about something he thought was made up. He took a couple of interesting news items and added some old lumber camp tales and made up a few things and had this ballad that he called, he just called it The Legend. But it was supposed to be about what he called the Michigan Dogman, which, according to his legend, which he freely admits was all made up, it was a creature that was supposed to appear the 7th year of every decade. And so he heard this and called me from Michigan and said, hey, we got the same thing down here, in Michigan. And as it turned out, Michigan has huge numbers of sightings. In fact, we can talk later if you like. I'm on my blog right now. I've been writing a batch of news articles. No, that's not right either. A batch of reports that I've been receiving from Michigan. Sometimes things just come in clumps.
Yeah.
You'll find that in any sort of study of cryptid things. And so I just happened to get a clump of things from all over Michigan, people that didn't really have any relation to one another, things that hadn't been published. So I can share those later. But Michigan turned out to be a state where there are lots and lots of these things. In fact, the Great Lakes, all the way around up to New York State, seem to be one really magnetic place for these things to kind of cluster. So it turned out to be something entirely different than I originally expected. And never in a million years back then did I think that 26 years later I would be sitting and talking about the events on the radio.
Right.
Yeah.
Several or more times a month, right? Books and all these other things, And it didn't happen right away. We can talk about that later, too. It was like 11, 12 years before I wrote the first book.
Oh.
So it's just been I call myself the accidental werewolf chronicler. And I use the term werewolf a little bit tongue-in-cheek because it gives a useful mental picture to people of what most describe seeing. But I did not back then, and I still do not think that we're dealing with the traditional Hollywood style of werewolves as most people conceive of them, where the thing turns into a werewolf if it's bitten or if it's the full moon. It needs silver bullets to be killed. It's slashing people apart and that kind of thing.
Yeah. No, go ahead. Sorry.
Well, when we were interviewing you the first time about this, we were discussing what these things actually look like. And because of Hollywood's version of the werewolf versus what these people that report to you what they see. There is some similarities, though, correct?
Oh, sure. Yeah, that's one reason that I've kind of, everybody kind of uses that word, because they do walk and run on their hind legs, most of them, which makes them automatically, if you take any canine and stand it up and have it running around on its hind legs, it's going to look a little weird, because what most people say is its legs were bent backwards, and by that they mean it was running on its toe pads, and what we consider the heel area will be up off the ground. So we would expect a knee to be going forward, but instead it's pointing backwards. So there's that, and then they do seem to, this is the thing that really freaks people out, and this is probably the hardest thing about them to explain. They look people in the eye, and people will feel that the creatures are thinking they are superior to the people, and that they are as curious about the witness as the witness is about them, in a way that you would not have happen with normal wild animals.
Oh.
Wow, that's crazy.
So like the story, so if we compare that, because like people say that with Bigfoot, usually Bigfoot turns and runs away. So like the Dogman itself is a little more curious and a little more like, well, I'm better than you are. They basically aren't afraid to run. They're right there to. It's sort of like the aggressive part. They're more like, I'm superior. So they're not afraid to confront you, I guess, is what you're saying, correct?
Yeah, they're that way, but then very much like the Bigfoot, they do. It seems like as soon as they've got the person impressed or scared or whatever reaction that they're going for, then they do turn around and usually melt off into whatever cover is nearby, because there usually is something like, a cornfield or a woods or just even in cities, enough as a hedge will be enough for them to run into. So they seem to make their point, and then in almost every case, just boogie wherever it's convenient to go to.
Right.
Well, Robert is saying, like, he's being funny too, but
so one of
the
our
nomadic
fans,
Dogman roaming in packs. So that's what he was saying, is that maybe it's like that then.
So is he saying like over in Australia? I mean,
I'm not sure. Hey, Mike.
Have you gotten any reports of a Dogman type creature in some of these other countries?
Yes, Australia is one of them.
See, there you go.
And
Robert.
also into South America and Canada. They really are all over, and they are occasionally seen in pairs or 3 of them. I think the most that have been seen at one time was 5 of them that were seen in Maine by a middle-aged couple.
So that would be considered a pack.
I
they were
would
stuck
say it's a
by
pack.
Yeah, you could assume that's a pack.
Yeah,
then.
I think so. And they seem to be hunting strategically, which is something that wildlife experts have shown in studies recently, that natural wolves really do hunt strategically. They have, formations and things. Well, this couple was sitting on their front porch at night, and some of you may recognize the story because it was in my book, Real Wolfmen, and then it was adapted from that by the Sci-Fi Paranormal Witness TV show. So this couple was sitting on their front porch, and they had a big flashlight, and this was their custom every night. They'd sit out there and watch to see deer come to a pond that they had out not too far from their home. And they were sitting there this one night, I think it was about 5 years ago, and the husband got a real uneasy feeling. They both did. And the husband asked the wife to go into the house, and instead she turned on this big flashlight. And there, flanking them, were 3 upright dog or wolf-like creatures on one side and 2 coming at them from the other side. So they had formed this flanking formation coming in at them silently in the dark.
Oh, my gosh.
And they immediately backed up into the... Yeah, how would you like to see that?
Oh.
They immediately backed up into the house. And the man had guns, but they were all locked outside, and he couldn't get at them. So they called 911. 911 told them to call the animal control it was the sheriff's department they had, told them to call the animal control people. Neither one would come out. They said, just, stay in your house, lock the door, stay in the house till tomorrow.
What?
And so they were in that house.
I'm sorry to interrupt,
in
but
that
that's
house all night long.
Sorry to interrupt, Linda, but I'm sorry to interrupt, but think about this. I mean, 911 tells them, and animal control tells them to stay in their house. I mean, if it's some type of animal,
Right.
I mean, that's ridiculous.
That's so scary.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes, and would not come out. And I'll tell you what, I did a lot of interviewing before this was on, the TV or anything. I did a lot of interviewing with this couple who were just very nice, down-to-earth, middle-aged people. They're not going to make this sort of thing up. But I tried to get a copy of the 911 call, and they didn't deny that they had it, but they just, dilly-dallied around and kept shuffling me to different departments. And so then the witnesses tried to get it, and it was their call. They should have been able to. They were told that the call had been transcribed, which, who does that? I mean, why would you just transcribe the call instead of keeping the actual recording? And then also the Sci-Fi Channel tried to get it, all three of us, and none of us were successful. And those things are not supposed, it's illegal not to release a 911 call. That's supposed to be public information.
Public information.
So
There's an act for that. I'm trying to remember what the act is called, but there is a public act that they have to release that information.
Right, they do.
I can't think about it. I can't tell you what the name of it is, but that's weird,
Yeah, and here they never did. They never did. We never got that. But what happened was they stayed in the house all night. They didn't have much choice. And their daughter was sleeping upstairs. They kind of kept going up to check on her. The TV showed them sleeping in their own bed, or in the daughter's bed, I think it was, with an axe. That did not happen. They did not have an axe with them. There were a lot of little things that were kind of blown up, that to make it a little scary. I think it's scary enough as it was. But every once in a while, they would look out of the window and look down, and she said immediately 5 pairs of glowing green-yellow eyes would stare back up at them. So they could see them there hanging around the whole evening. And in the morning, they were finally gone. There were some impressions left in the grass where their footprints had been, but they weren't real. On the TV show, it shows them as real clear footprints or tracks, but they weren't real. It was more like impressions in the grass. And that was, really about all that they left. But the one thing that the couple did was they remembered that the creatures had all walked past this one shed door and they were very close to it, the shed door, and that their heads reached the top of the shed door. When they measured it, the head would have been 7 feet off the ground. So they were 7 feet tall.
Holy cats, come on.
Yeah, that's
scary as all get out.
Yeah,
I'm telling you right
7 foot.
now, if I saw somebody flanking me, and I'd be like, what?
Yeah, well, 7 foot tall. I mean, that's pretty big. I mean, and that's 7 foot, and then Bigfoot they're saying is 9 foot.
Yeah.
I mean, think about it this way: to have creatures like this being sighted in your area, whether it's Michigan or wherever, it's a scary thing.
Terrifying.
It's terrifying. It is. It really is.
That's when you
Yeah,
need
it
muscles
is.
around.
And they were very, they were super afraid of it. And I think you can see it online. I called it the Maine Pack because it happened near Palmyra, Maine, and I think the Sci-Fi show called it the Pack. And again, it was in Maine. They did move out of that house not too long after.
Wow. I don't blame them though. And just so you know, Rebecca, our other the co-host that was with us that you met the first time, she's on and saying hi. So she's watching as well.
She's watching.
You know, I myself, I mean, this is intriguing to me. I mean, I'm a big Bigfoot, I like the whole thing about Bigfoot, but I know, and I think I've told you this before, Linda, I am very intrigued with the whole Dogman thing. I mean, I'm a big werewolf fan as it is. And I don't know if you heard us earlier, we're talking about adopting a werewolf baby. There's a lady that makes these babies, and they're werewolves, and they're awesome.
I think so.
What's that?
I've seen those. They're hysterical. They're very cute.
They are. They're adorable.
They are. We were thinking you needed one too.
Yeah, you do. You need
You
one.
definitely need one too.
I probably do. I have a little collection of things like that.
Perfect. Oh my goodness. I have my friends on here tonight and they're making me laugh a little bit.
So where would you say, as in, where is the most claims? Where would you think that you get the most people contacting you from with these things? I mean, if you were to have a map and pin the map, where what state or what area?
Well, think about it this way. Around here, especially, and even my friend Mike is in Pennsylvania, we're used to coyotes.
Yeah, lots of coyotes.
Lots of coyotes.
Yeah.
This is very different than coyotes, guys.
I mean,
Yeah.
what does one of these weigh, Linda, as a speculation, as a guess? How much does one weigh?
Most people will guess at around between 150 and 250 max.
Wow.
Sometimes I know there are a few
bigger than
reports
me.
there, and but they get confused sometimes with Bigfoots, which will probably weigh a lot more because the Bigfoots are more they're just larger boned, bigger,
Yeah.
wider, and I like Bigfoot too. Yeah, I'm an equal opportunity cryptid seeker.
I like that.
Yeah. Well, I honestly, this whole thing with the werewolf. I mean, I like I said, I'm into the werewolf. I always have been with the TV shows and the specials and all that stuff. But to really find out that there's a possibility that these things truly exist out there, especially in the southern states. I mean, is that where you get most of? Well, actually, you said Michigan. So, where else do you get most of your reports from?
Well, I noticed I do map things out. I'm a big person for mapping, and not just the online, but also I like atlases. I like to really just look and have pages to turn and see where things are. And I noticed almost right away that there were more sightings east of the Mississippi than west, and that still is true today. And the ones that happen west of the Mississippi are often a little bit different. That's kind of a different subject. We can talk about that. But I noticed that they seem to be heaviest going around the Great Lakes. And again, that would be Wisconsin, Michigan, Ohio, up into Pennsylvania, up into New York. And then you get those upper eastern states like Maine and various other ones from there. Then there's another spur that kind of goes from Illinois down past some of the southern states and into Texas, and then another one that sort of bends over from Georgia down to Florida. So it's like you can see these sort of general trends as to where the great bulk of them are, but it doesn't mean they can't be other places. And there's one other aspect to this. I always still try and play the reporter and put my reporter's hat on when I can. It may partly be that Wisconsin seems to have so many because I'm better known, my books are better known, and so more people understand there's somebody they can report them to. And, of course, there are a lot more people to report these things to now than there were back then. Back in 91, 92, for a very long time, probably for most of that decade, there were very few people willing to admit that these things were worth studying or tracking. And those who did would insist that it was some kind of a snouted Bigfoot, which struck me as kind of ridiculous because they're really very different orders of animals. One is a primate, one is a canine, and they're just not built anything like one another. And any witness that got a good look, because I was getting reports of Bigfoots right along with the Dogman or the upright canines, as I prefer, all along. And people who had a good, clear look, many of them did in daylight, in fairly close quarters, would say, I know what I saw. This was no canine, or I know what I saw. This was no, sort of primate. And the ones that described it as a canine would almost always say tall, pointy ears on top of the head, the long muzzle, looked like a German Shepherd or a wolf, fangs, and all the parts that dogs have versus apes.
So, question then. I mean, well, a couple actually. When, to the best of your knowledge, I mean, I'm because you have all this information, how far back can you go when the first report came out with something like this creature?
Well, the first one around where I am, I found out that there are old legends here and there, dotted around the country and other places. The first one that I was able to document, and I'm still not sure what this is. This one actually does sound like sort of a combination of the Bigfoot and the werewolf, except it really, well, I was going to say it's really more dog-like, but then in my mind I'm thinking of these claws. It's pretty well known. It happened in an adjacent county to Walworth County, Jefferson County in Wisconsin. So it's still that kind of southeastern area. It's known as the Gadara case because there was a Catholic institute there that cared for developmentally challenged and abled people called St. Coletta's. In fact, President Jack Kennedy's sister Rosemary was there for many years until her death. And this was back in 1936. And the father of a Racine County newspaper editor, his name was Mark Schaffelman. He was a former boxer, big guy. He was the night watchman for this institute, and he made rounds on foot. I saw somebody had a version of this where he was driving past it in a car. That's not true. He made his rounds on foot, and southern Wisconsin is just dotted with very unique Indian mounds, both burial mounds, effigy mounds, that is ones that look kind of like animals and other shapes. And there were several on this ground. And he came around to a mound that was still existing then in 1936 and saw this really huge fur-covered creature digging in the mound. And it looked at him, he looked at it, and it fled. Well, he was terrified, but he got a bigger flashlight. And the next night he came back with one of those flashlights that was kind of like a billy club and a flashlight all together. There's a name I can't think of for it.
Yeah, that's
and the creature, sure enough, was there.
That's the big mag light. Sorry, the big mag light.
Yes,
yeah.
Exactly.
Sorry.
So the creature stared at him. He stared at it, and the creature stood up. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, the delay is getting me a little bit here. So
yep, I'm sorry.
You have to excuse that. No problem. So the creature stood up and looked at the man and let loose this sort of growling, semi-howl kind of sound that the man said sounded like Gadara, which, if you look in the Bible, happens to be the region of Galilee where Jesus was casting demons out of people, and then there was one where he had them go into a herd of swine. Now, that could have been, again, playing the devil's advocate, because it's the G, the Gur, and the R, the normal growling sounds. It could have been just a very pronounced growl that he interpreted as that word. It's really hard to know now, but it did sound, that was the sound that it had. And he told his son this story when he was on his deathbed many years later. He told his son, the newspaper editor, many years later, and the newspaper editor drew a sketch of it at his dad's direction. And that was in my first book about it, The Beast of Bray Road. He allowed me to reprint. He wrote quite a huge story for his own newspaper that he had at the time. And he was one of those who called me right in those early first days. So that would be the closest that I had to, calling it a modern sighting or encounter of some kind.
Well, we have a guest on Periscope, because it's one of the new outlets that we're on now. And she was saying, or he, I can't remember now, Wild Rose, it was a she. She said she had some sightings of something like this in Wisconsin.
Right. That's where this was. That's exactly where this sighting was. It was
right
in Jefferson County, Wisconsin. Where were her Did she say where hers were in Wisconsin?
I actually have one of my friends, Amy.
I'm going to ask her.
Amy was also saying that she remembers hearing your stories from Wisconsin because that's where she's from originally as well. She's now in the Rochester, New York area, but she was from Wisconsin and she remembers hearing the stories that you're talking about. She remembers it. I think it's really cool. But I also
That's great.
and Robert White, who is our gentleman from Down Under, he actually says it kind of is similar to their Yowie, which which is their
That's almost like a Bigfoot.
Bigfoot. Yes, thank you. It's like their Bigfoot in
Right.
Australia.
Yeah, it's amazing how almost every country has its own upright, walking, furry animal, and even if you go down to, South American jungles, they'll have the were-jaguar. In Japan, they don't have many large predatory animals, but they've got the were-fox. So wherever you go, there's this idea that there's something that acts human-like, but is obviously an animal of some type, yet doesn't quite act the way an animal should either. So it really is a worldwide phenomenon that we're dealing with.
Washahara County? I don't know if that's how you say it. But that was what Wild Rose
Washara? Uh-huh.
Yes, that's it. Washahara County was where she had her sighting.
And my friend Mike said, I used to live in Maine for a few years. One night he heard blood curdling howls. Neighbors said it was a fisher. He said it may not be supernatural, but that howl was
scary, probably. Yeah.
So maybe, never know if maybe he even had something like that.
Wow.
Yep. You never know. Maine has a lot of sightings, probably more known for their Bigfoot. But again, that was the place where that pack attack happened in Maine.
Yes, that's so scary.
What I want to find out is,
we haven't done it.
Yeah, we got to go to a commercial here in a second, but you said, we were talking about the Great Lakes area and stuff like that, where it's being seen. Why do you think more of the eastern side of the...
Why the Great Lakes and the eastern side of the country? You said that mostly that its sightings have been east of the Mississippi. I'm just curious why you think that may be.
I think it's partly because of the terrain. They seem to like forested areas or areas where there are tall prairie grasses. Now we have, of course, corn replacing most of those types of areas, but we still have the heavily forested areas and lots of water.
Yeah.
So you have the good cover, the heavily forested areas that will most importantly support their prey, which are deer. They're often seen with deer or for roadkill, they'll pick up raccoons and things like that. I don't know whether they hunt those, but they are seen taking deer very frequently or carrying off a hind quarter of a deer. So it has to provide prey for them and lots of water and cover.
Okay.
So listen, we saw, my mom and I were driving to the next town over from Ontario. Mm-hmm. And there had been roadkill, and you could see a huge splatter of blood all over the road. And you're just like, okay, where is the animal that goes with this? And all you could see is one back leg.
Gross.
That's all that was left of this animal.
It had been hit by a semi.
It just was terrible. It was terrible.
Yeah. All right, Linda, we're going to put you on hold for just a second. We've got
Are we doing Michelle too?
Actually, I have not heard from Michelle.
Well, I saw her on here earlier. Michelle, are you still here?
All right. So normally we have Michelle on, and she does a quick reading. So when we come back, we've been sitting here talking with Linda Godfrey, who is the foremost authority on modern day monsters. She's an amazing person. She has a lot
This is awesome.
Yeah. Wagner.
Oh.
She has a lot of information about, you know, the real monsters of today, like the Dogman, which is a werewolf type creature, and Bigfoot, and so on and so forth. We really do like this conversation. I think it's interesting and it's great,
It's so
and we're
cool.
learning a lot, to be honest with you.
Oh my gosh, yes.
With all this, and where it is, and why, and so on and so forth. You know, I do have to say this though. I was thinking about what she said, that it weighs somewhere around 175 to 200 pounds.
150 to 200.
Now, here's a thought. Some of those bears that are out there are just the same size. So, I mean,
I would say they're even bigger.
in some cases, like the grizzly and stuff. I mean, could you imagine what a battle would be like between the two of those?
Holy cats.
Because a grizzly bear, you know, a real bear
Yeah.
is they'll eat deer and everything too. So, you know, most people don't know that or didn't think of
know
it.
that.
But yeah, they eat deer and any type of, you know, creature like that, or animal, I should say.
I remember in college there was a kid who was originally from Australia, and he actually encountered a bear and had a bear attack, and he literally said, "Oh yeah," we're like, "Yeah, right." He lifts his shirt, and you can see these huge scars
Wow.
from a bear attack. So
Yeah, and I couldn't imagine something like this being attacked by a
couldn't
Dogman
either.
or
No.
anything like that.
It
It's
might
like
give
right
it a
out of
run for
it sounds just like it's right out of a supernatural movie or something. So,
hi Heather,
Which
hi
is-
Karen, hi Selena.
which is one of those things. I mean, it's a scary thought. People are
Yeah.
afraid of Bigfoot, but this creature, think about it, it's not afraid of you. You know, so
Right.
this is something
Right.
a little.
I mean, if it's gonna look in our eyes and
Kinda stare you down.
stare us down and go, "Hey, I'm better than you are." I'm like, "Okay, you can be better than me. I'm going
yeah,
out of here."
That's true.
Yeah.
So we're gonna do our commercial. We'll be coming right back to you, Linda. Don't go anywhere. And Linda's gonna give away a couple books here too tonight. So that's awesome. Sit tight, everybody.
Since 1948, Fate magazine has captivated you with their true reports of the strange and unknown. But things just got better. Join host Todd Bates Sunday nights 6/5 Central for Fate Radio. We bring you the best interviews, stories, and most of all, bring these true reports of the strange and unknown to life. Fate Radio with Todd Bates Sunday nights 6/5 Central at FateMagRadio.com.
Flashlight Recorder and Comfortable Shoes, a simple guide to paranormal investigation. Written by Keith Spratley and Ted Van Son. If you're looking to join the living who research the paranormal or the unknown, this book will guide you into developing your techniques. Reverend Tim Shaw says, the work will guide you along your journey to seek the truth about life after death. Available at Barnes & Noble and Amazon. And you can find a direct link on Paratalkradio.com. Get your copy today.
Awesome,
Hey
folks.
Sammy, hey Adam.
Excuse me. We're sitting here talking with Linda Godfrey.
Yeah, cool.
Yes, very cool.
She's the monster lady.
Yeah, she's the monster lady. She's talking about modern day monsters. She's
Yes.
got some great information, and she has a lot of books out. In fact, she's going to give a couple books out here in a little bit. So make sure you stay tuned so you can win the book she has.
Win.
Win, exactly. So the first book that she's going to give away is actually a nonfiction book called American Monsters. And then the secondary book that she's going to give away is called, is this right? God Johnson, the Unforgiven, I can't even read my handwriting, diary. Right?
Yes. Yeah, it's co-published with my agency in New York, and it was my first fantasy novel.
Hey,
I've
Chanel.
been working on the sequel to it, and it's a lot of fun. It's just something, one gets, the American Monsters will get you all scared, and then you can read this one, and it still is scary, but it's a little bit lighter, and it's very, very different. So, I think they make kind of a good combination.
Right. That one's more
But
fiction.
yeah, the American Monsters,
Right?
it is, right, that is fiction. The American Monsters is nonfiction. It's people's true encounters and reports of their encounters with all different types of cryptids, from the flying, the swimming, and the land-based.
Awesome. I have not heard from Michelle, so I don't know if she's calling in, but that's, we
Yeah.
have our normal anyway.
Yeah.
So I got a question for you. Actually, a couple questions we've had here on Periscope. One of them was, how how does this Dogman, or what did you call it? You called it a standing canine, upright canine.
Upright canine.
Okay, what about the crossover to like the Egyptian? Well, yeah, Anubis. Yes,
thank
Anubis.
You.
I mean,
could not
that's
think of his name.
Yeah, I couldn't either.
It's the god Anubis,
Right,
which is
so
the standing.
a jackal.
Yes,
type
it's like
creature.
a jackal.
I mean, yeah.
The longer nose,
Big ears, the whole
that
thing,
stand up. Yep, and he stands on two legs.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
Right. Yeah, that's a good question, and it's something that many people will bring up and use as a comparison. In fact, on my blog, a couple of the newest ones, I have one description that actually looks a lot like that with the super tall ears. And I've had that described to me also from people who have less earthly experiences. For instance, probably 95% of the encounter stories that I hear are of things that really don't have anything overtly supernatural. In other words, there's no little wings sprouting, no, funny stuff going on. It's walking on the hind legs is something any mammal can be trained or may even learn to do on their own if they have an injured forepaw or something like that. It's not supernatural. It's just unusual because they're not built to walk that way. And staring at someone in the eyes, that may just be a form of heightened aggression that they've learned is effective. Who knows? But there are then people who will say, I woke up at night and this 7-foot-tall, black-furred thing with a dog-like face was standing and staring at me, and then when it leaves, it just goes through the bedroom window. And there are too many of these from unrelated sources to think, no, this is just an odd, once-in-a-while thing. It's a whole different category. It's a whole different phenomenon, in my view. It's not really the same thing that other people are saying, but many of these are that Anubis-looking thing, and they'll use that word. It reminded me of Anubis, the god of the dead. I had one, though, where there were 3 guards at the naval base in North Chicago, which is right on Lake Michigan, that saw one. And I believe this story is in Hunting the American Werewolf, which is my second book on the topic. And they were out patrolling the grounds, and there was a very old cemetery, which for some reason these things and the Bigfoot, at least around Wisconsin, seem to be somewhat attracted to cemetery grounds. And 3 of these guards saw this creature, and one of them was a woman, and she wrote to me that it reminded her of Anubis, the Egyptian god of the dead, because it had shiny black fur, smooth black fur, and the very tall ears and the very sharp snout. So it's not an isolated thing, and it happens in both categories where they're doing, super normal things and just regular earthly things.
Interesting.
No, that's very cool. Go ahead.
I just wanted to address something. They're talking about that there's something going on Facebook. So you guys, there may be a delay. I mean, we're used to seeing the delay, so there is a lot of times there will be a delay.
Yes, there is, yes.
From us
So even the video as well as the audio, there is a delay.
So from our guests hearing a delay and us hearing, there's a delay. But from us to Facebook itself, there is a delay.
Right, there is a delay to that.
But they're also saying that their messages are going away really fast. So yes, unfortunately, when people are talking so quickly in the chat, I don't get to see them all. And I just happened to see that.
Well,
Sheila
that's one of the problems with
too.
Facebook. That's why we're on Periscope too, because Periscope is a little better as a video type thing. So, all right. So
hi, Lance. Hi, Walt. And Robert says, you better share those M&Ms.
He saw the M&Ms.
M&M minis, LOL.
Yep, M&M minis. So the other question I got for you, Linda, is there any connection, do you think, with the gypsy lore? I mean, because we know the gypsies. Yeah, there is some stuff with the gypsies where they believed in werewolves, and I didn't realize that. Yeah, there was a bunch of stuff with the gypsies, and I know that when they traveled, they had a lot of superstitions and a lot of supernatural beliefs. So, and I believe that the Dogman or werewolf was part of that.
Oh, interesting. I had no clue. I did not know that.
Yeah. So the question to you, Linda, is what do you think?
Yes, that could very well be. I know the Romani people have many ancient legends. They're well traveled and they have their own cultural beliefs. But there has been kind of a falsehood built up by some of those early werewolf movies, back in the early 20th century. And the verse that everybody remembers, which goes something like, even a man who who is upright and says his prayers at night, may see a werewolf, blah, blah, blah. That one was entirely made up by the movie producer.
Yes.
It's not a real Romani legend. It just was made up for the drama, for the movie. So it happens that way. These things tend to get, because people are always excited and they're telling stories about them, and sometimes their own stories get wrapped in with the other ones, and you just tend to get this sort of mixture of stuff, and it can be difficult sometimes later to sort out which was which.
Yeah.
Well, we know that when people don't know, they're afraid of the unknown, first off. They tend to make up stories about stuff. And it's sort of like that old fisherman saying, it's like, here's what the fish really was, but their stories are, huge.
Big.
Yeah.
But also when I was a kid, I had movies like The Werewolf of London.
Yeah.
I mean, and that's what got me really excited and interested in Werewolf of London, especially since I saw a butt for the first time. A guy.
Of course you would take it there.
But I mean, we have these things that Hollywood impressed upon us, right?
Right. So there is a lot of...
We have these certain views,
right,
like that are very much based in Hollywood.
And I think
like witches,
American Werewolf of London was one of the first movies that came out, of course, and besides the black and whites with so on and so forth, but I can't think of his name.
Yeah,
me neither. But at the same time, that was like the first movie that actually showed you the transformation.
Right.
Of going through all that.
And it was like the makeup was amazing back then, right?
Right. But what the real information or real
American Werewolf in London. Thank you, Robert. Yes.
But what Linda's saying is the stuff like there is no transformation. These creatures are like this automatically.
Teen Wolf.
No, that was Teen Wolf.
Teen Wolf.
Teen Wolf. There was
in the 80s.
Well, look at
Late
Underworld.
80s.
The movies, the Underworld movies. I mean, they were vampire and werewolf or lycan, and it's all of that. I mean, we are as Americans, even we as a civilization are infatuated with creatures and monsters and stuff like that.
We really are.
I mean, you look at some of the stories.
We want these things to be so true, don't we?
Right, and the fairy tales,
yes.
the child's books that we talk. Remember that little movie called Monsters?
Yes.
And it was these little kids about monsters living underneath their bed, and so we even put that to our children. Saying there's monsters. If you don't behave yourself, the monster's going to come out from underneath your bed, and that I don't know how many times I was told that as a child.
Wait a second.
What's that?
Chanel said the first Teen Wolf was Michael Landon.
Yes, the original was Michael Landon.
I never knew that.
Yeah, that was the original. Was Michael Landon?
I didn't know it was.
Then Michael J. Fox did it too. So.
And then the new kid.
So there's a whole bunch with that, but.
Silver Bullet with Corey Haim. I love that one too,
Yeah.
Chanel.
But this is all
Good
like
movie.
what
Lon Chaney, thank you. I knew I had the Lon.
Yep. But like what Linda's saying is that's all TV, that's all Hollywood versus what she's really being given as a report. I
want to go see. I want to go with her, to be honest.
Well, this is probably a stupid question because the answer is probably there, Linda. But
Johnny?
you guys have like casts like they do for Bigfoot, right? You have foot casts.
Oh, sure. Yeah, definitely. I found some myself, and have pictures various places on my blog, and they usually look like just very large, maybe 6 foot, or excuse me, not 6 foot, 6 inches, and then I wonder how these legends get made. 6 inch or 7 inch wolf-like. 6 inch or 7 inch wolf-like prints. And then sometimes and I've seen these and recorded them myself, if it's getting ready to like spring, and many witnesses have said these things can spring tremendous distances on their hind legs, the hawk will come down and make an impression, and it looks almost like a foot with toes and a heel, and it is sort of a heel. It's the hawk coming down so that it can spring out. And I had one incident in South Milwaukee where several people were chased by one that came out of a cornfield near Lake Michigan. It's not what you think of as Milwaukee. It's sort of a southern neighborhood near the lake, actually. And it was chasing them. I was there within a couple of days to go and walk over the route with them. And we said, well, maybe it wasn't all happening on the road. They were only on the road, but we saw a little inlet going into the cornfield. And we walked back there where there happened to be a really nice big mud puddle of clay-like dirt, which is probably the best thing for imprints.
Right.
And there you could see that exact thing where there was, the foot pad, the toes with the sharp. You can always see the claw marks, which is a good way to distinguish them from, say, cougars or mountain lions, which do also go through the state. And then the hawk dipping down where it sprang out of the mud at a deer. You could see where a deer had just in front of it done the same thing, and the rear hoofs of the deer went down deeper into the mud where it was springing forward and going. We didn't find anything gruesome, so the deer probably got away on that one. But it was kind of cool to have this really great testimony from several people, and then also have the footprints to bear that out.
Cool. You have a couple questions, sir, too.
Caesar. Yeah. So have you guys found any fur or scat or anything like that to cement some of these findings?
Like they do with Bigfoot. Yeah.
Right. You have these hoof impressions. And has there been any DNA run if you have found anything like that? Hey,
I have on occasion had some fur samples that the witness, where they'd had an appearance or there was some reason to believe that an upright canine had been there. And one of them, I would have sworn that this was from something wild because it was this big patch of dark black fur, and a woman we had found huge dog prints in the mulch right outside her house. She had heard something run across her roof on two legs and then jump down off the roof into this mulch bed where she had just planted her spring plant.
Oh, geez.
And they found this fur near a tree, and it was very just mangy, awful looking. It looked very wild, like, it had never been brushed. It had very thick. I had to get one of those super cutters, like they show the commercials where they're cutting a penny in half or something.
Yes.
That's what it took to cut a little piece off that I could send in. And I took it, I think I took it to a DNR agent, and it was said to be a cat, a house cat, which I still actually to this day don't believe, because that had to be one really wild, strange cat to have such thick skin besides the fur. But anyway, that was one example. I've had other people that collected a few hairs on the grill of their car, but they turned out to be squirrel hairs, strangely. So, and sometimes you just wonder if the labs are messing with you, if they've been told not to say that it's something else, or if it really, and I'm sure there are many cases where it really is the fur of some kind of animal, perhaps it had already just been there.
Right.
But they do commit, I've just never had one really pay off. And here's the thing, because, as I said, 95% of these things just look like giant, or huge anyway, dogs or timber wolves running on their hind legs. It sounds like if you got the fur from one, it would just measure out as a large dog or a timber wolf, because there's nothing to show that it's part human really, or anything else like that. It's, it doesn't have leopard spots or anything that would indicate, some other type of species with it. So I have a feeling that that's what and I often give this comparison. Bigfoot's really different. If you're going through the woods and you see a big, dead, upright canine creature, you have no way to know that it was canine. It may often have elongated paws. That's the one difference that people will notice. so that they almost look like hands. So you may think, oh, that's a really big looking dead dog thing. Yeah, the paws are a little wonky, but yeah, that's a big dead wolf or something. But if you had a dead Bigfoot, you'd know what you had.
Right.
You would immediately know what you had because it's so, close to humanoid. So that's and so with the Dogman, if you sent in the hair then from that thing, it would just probably come back as dog or wolf. They're very, very closely related. But the Bigfoot, and I know that there have been attempts to, where people believe that they did have biological material from Bigfoot and it went through a lab. There's sort of controversial, I guess. Not all the steps were followed perfectly that usually happen in such a case, but it comes out really mostly unknown, because when you send in an animal specimen and want to know what species it was, what the scientist does is checks out the DNA and then goes to compare it to his chart. Well, if there's nothing on the chart for that creature, then the only possible conclusion is that it's an unknown creature.
Right.
Which we already know.
Right. And they have that. I mean, I was watching an episode of where they were comparing fur samples from Bigfoot to other animals, and they actually submitted one, and it came back as a mixture of a polar bear grizzly bear mix.
What? How
Yeah.
is that
So
possible?
this DNA that they had from both creatures.
That's cool.
Or both bears. So if it's an unknown creature, I mean, that's it comes back to what I'm taking notes here. So about evolution with these things, Robert
says Canis maximus, big effing dog.
Now could this be with the Dogman? I mean, as we're saying, I mean, is this something that is either evolutionary creature of some type that maybe was wolf at one point, and evolution has taken over and it's evolved, or is this an alien? Maybe something, because we do have people say that Bigfoot is an alien, that the aliens dropped him off here. But
yep, we do have. We talked about that.
We did talk about that, but it seems like the farther you go back in history, if the creature's been seen, or there's been some information about this creature from like the early 1930s, and then if you go to Bigfoot, it's even farther back. It kind of makes you think. So where did it come from? Why is it here? What is it really? I mean, without having DNA and fur and stuff, I guess we're kind of stuck in the same place she is with it too, though.
Right,
I mean, because unless you have a dead body or the right, stuff, you don't know. I mean,
right. But think about it this way. I mean, if you live in the woods, and we talk about this with Bigfoot too. Well, where are the remains?
Right.
Well, come on. I mean, we're just now finding bodies of the Civil War guys that died.
Yeah, there are some that they're just
woods.
finding. Same with the Egyptians; they're still finding remains of them.
Right. I mean, so it's not unheard of that we are not going to find a subspecies animal that is not readily seen and not find their bones.
In some cases, but I also think, though, I mean, we know that wolves exist in the woods. We know that bear exists in the woods, and a lot of times you don't find their bones, you don't find their remains.
Right.
So, I mean, the ecosystem eats that stuff up quick.
Absolutely. I mean, we have a lot of animals that are predators.
Right. I mean, do they chew on bone? I mean, we know that wolves do. We know that hyenas do. We know that, most of your canines do. So it's possible that the remains, I mean, like they were talking about Bigfoot, is like Bigfoot may bury him. Bigfoot may bury him. Mm-hmm. But we don't know. You know, so I don't know.
Yeah, I've heard that too. Well, again, it's probably.
Sorry, Linda. We have to interrupt. We're going to bring you in this too. You can join us. This is Paranormal News.
This is our Paranormal News segment.
Yes, it is. So we're going to bring you in on this, and I'm sorry to interrupt because I knew you were going to say something there, but we are going to do this real quick. It's something new that we have on Paratalk. We kind of bring up a couple things. Yes, we do. So weigh in as much as you'd like there, okay?
Okay.
All right. So the first one we have for paranormal news is UFO Mysteries Unraveled, how the real-life X-Files emerged from a top-secret UK project.
Stop it. Are you serious right now?
That's what we got. It says a former official of the UK's Ministry of Defence, which the UK's Ministry of Defence, we know somebody that worked there, Keith Spratley,
Right.
has shed new light on circumstances surrounding a secret government UFO study that was conducted during the 1990s. It says in 1996, the MOD commissioned a defense contractor to produce a comprehensive report on the UK's UFO sightings. The report was compiled at a time of the huge public interest in the UFOs fueled by the wildly popular X-Files TV series in America. And in 1997, the 50th anniversary of the reported UFO incident in Roswell and in New Mexico. So they've taken all of this and actually dated it to like anniversaries to when the first thing was saw and so on and so forth, which I think is very cool. It says, careful to avoid using the term UFO, the report describes sightings as unidentified aerial phenomena, not unidentified flying object.
Linguistics, people.
I don't
Come
know.
on.
Code name Project Coden, the report analyzed as a database of sightings between 1987 and 1997, which is 10 years, and was delivered to officials in 2000. The studies entitled Unidentified Aerial Phenomena in the UK Air Defence Region found that these sightings could be explained by a variety of known phenomena, both man-made and natural.
Huh.
That's what they're saying.
Okay.
Nick Pope, a former MOD UFO investigator who is now an author and journalist, told Fox News that he was involved in setting
Fox
up
News.
the study with his counterpart in the ministry's defense intelligence staff. The reason for the study was that while we've been investigating UFO sightings on a case-by-case basis for decades, we've done very little trend analysis, he explained. Project Coden was supposed to rectify this and be a proper intelligent assessment that would look for the patterns and data we already had. So I don't get it. So what are they saying? That they're not sure, that the way they put this together wasn't collected correctly, wasn't put in order, they didn't investigate it as in, all these people, like what Linda deals with, when reports come in, they didn't follow up on them.
Right.
That's what it sounds like to me. It says the study was highly classified and extremely sensitive, not least because the MOD consistently told Parliament, the media, and the public that UFOs were of limited interest and no defense significance.
What?
That's exactly what's here.
I guess they're new to the
Wow.
Earth.
Yeah, exactly. Linda's like, wow.
Yeah.
But think about it. They're no threat, so they're not even on board with this. They just put it away. They just closed it up in a drawer. Said whatever.
Yep.
Yeah,
I mean, that sounds normal.
I've had experiences with things.
Hey, Barb.
I actually saw this was just a couple of years ago, the year before last, a property owner near Bray Road, and a very experienced investigator colleague of mine and I were sitting doing a stakeout at this man's hayfield because we had a deer out that we should have come and eaten. He had trail cameras out. There's a long story to this whole thing. It's told in its entirety in Monsters Among Us. But we were staking this thing out, and we were all the way across this 40-some acre hayfield, and we were looking at this tree line where the deer is, and all of a sudden what we assumed was an airplane landing light turned and started proceeding directly across the hayfield towards this car we were sitting in. The guys were in the front seat, I was in the back. And because I figured something was going to come out of the cornfield behind us and try and get us. But anyway, we're watching this thing coming toward us at a rather good clip, and we're all going, what? What is that? I'm trying to get my camera up in position because I've got these two hulking over 6-foot men sitting in the front seat. They're in my way. So the thing keeps traveling. This thing keeps traveling and stops finally we all estimated, and we all saw it exactly the same way at the same time. We estimated it was 25 to 30 feet above the ground and maybe about that same distance from the car. So we were really close. And we were just kind of going bananas trying to figure out what to do. And I'm still jostling around to get my camera shot because I had, the video thing ready set to record it. And the driver, who was feeling, I don't know what exactly possessed him, but we had one of those big giant mag flashlights in the car. Mm-hmm. And he just took it. His window was rolled out and aimed it up at this thing. And we all felt it hesitated. I mean, if it had just been light blobbing out another light, it should have just been gone. It hesitated. It persisted for a moment while we all felt it was feeling surprised. We all had that feeling about it. Wow. And then just kind of fizzled in on itself, and it was gone.
Wow.
And the driver got out. The driver got out, and he wanted to see, we were kind of by some hedges, and he wanted to see if it went down behind those hedges. He got out, and I'm like, I'm not getting out of this car. It was way too close for comfort.
Right.
Yeah.
And he came staggering back in a few seconds and said, I am deathly sick. I have to get out of here right now. Something he encountered, maybe it was still afterglow from the thing, made him feel completely almost sick to his stomach, and we had to leave right then. And, it actually didn't dawn on me until I was thinking about this, because I think about it all the time because it was so impossible. There was absolutely nothing out in that cornfield, completely dark, that could have come from. And it was self-lit. It was white. It was glowing but not lighting things up. Mm-hmm. And it was a perfect sphere. It was a perfect sphere. I was thinking about it, as I often do, and it occurred to me, we were assuming that it was just gone. But what if it was able to just go into another form and cloak itself, and it was still there the whole time?
Right. Well, I have one of our peeps. Robert says interdimensional travel, maybe.
Well, never know.
Yeah.
You never know. Huh.
You don't know. That's the whole thing. We don't know what it was, and yet it was so close. It was 30 feet away.
Oh, that's amazing.
Crazy.
All right, so let's go on to number 2. Here's the second one for Paranormal News.
Okay.
Why did the Sasquatch cross the road?
To get to the other side.
To give us another reason to make fun of the Garden State, because it says here the legendary...
That would be New Jersey for those of you who don't know who the Garden State is.
Fictitious, maybe, Bigfoot was allegedly spotted in New Jersey's densely wooded pine barrens, adding to the dozens of sightings in the Garden State since 1960, according to the group's log. They considered a credible account of a big, hairy, bipedal creature. In a split second...
I've seen some of those.
Yeah, me too.
They're true.
They're called bears. And
they're called human men.
Yeah, bears. That's what I was thinking, bears. But anyways, it says, in a split second, I saw something brown on 2 legs and about 6 foot tall sprinting behind the car, writes breathless eyewitness Tricia. In the latest sightings logged by the Bigfoot Field Researchers Organization, so the BFRO, which tracks the hallucinations of Bigfoot globally. I caught it in my rearview mirror, wrote Tricia, of this creature. She said it spied, and it was on an overcast evening.
But that's what we heard before, too.
Yeah, and she said she was with her husband and a dog, and it was near Brown Mills in Ocean County. She said, I was kind of thinking to myself that my eyes were playing tricks on me, but I just couldn't shake it, she wrote. Reps from the BFRO reached out to Tricia the next day, and she kind of explained the whole situation to them. So I guess when Cliff comes back, we get to talk to him about this case, because he might know what the BFRO has to say with us.
Yeah.
I know he's not a member of BFRO, but he may know.
Right.
I don't know. Have you heard about anything like this, cases like this?
As to just things running behind your car, you mean? Or
Yeah, like-
well, I mean,
Well,
pine
I would
barrens
say
in
more of
are
New Jersey. I
severely
mean,
purple.
I guess New Jersey has a lot of sightings. I mean, the BFRO has logged 68 Sasquatch sightings in New Jersey all the way back to 1966.
Is that a lot, though?
I don't know.
That's like one, not even one a year. I mean,
Well, they
it's-
also have.
Go ahead.
Well, they also have the Jersey Devil, which
Right.
is not really described as much like Sasquatch at all.
Right.
So perhaps they have both, you know. But the Jersey Devil is really different. I think that's what they're really famous for in the Pine Barrens. It's Pine Barrens. It's the one that I associate with the Pine Barrens, and it's a lot different looking thing. It has wings in many cases, and a head that's more like a small horse head and horns, and you know it's really, really different than your average Sasquatch. So I would think that somebody would know the difference if they were reporting one or the other.
Right. To answer to your question, Cindy, the BFRO, like I said, they logged 68 Sasquatch sightings in New Jersey since 1966. California holds the record for Bigfoot sightings. With BFRO, they've logged over 437 sightings.
Holy cats. So I guess that's true.
So if you break that down into
Yeah.
since 1966,
That's a lot.
437 sightings, that's pretty good.
Yeah, I would say so.
Yeah. Oh, amazing.
I heard more of a goat-like head.
All right, so here's our third and final one.
Okay.
And this one's for Linda.
Okay.
Woman says she has filmed
All right.
Woman says that she has filmed the Dogman. A woman from an undisclosed location in the United States released video Tuesday of what she calls a dog-man beast. Christina Del Parker, author of 100 Bigfoot Nights, claims she took the footage in 2013 in a forest near her property. She said, "I believe to be the dog-man beast going back into the forest." This is what she believes on her video. It says that, according to researchers, the video was very shaky and was only 17 seconds long. So they're kind of tossing it out there that it's a possibility that it's a fake thing.
And does it show
But
it?
it depicts a dark-haired animal with canine-like pointed ears, seemingly walking on two legs.
Did you post this on our
I'm
page
sorry,
yet?
I have that.
You have what?
She hasn't seen it.
Oh, I have not seen it, unfortunately, so it's hard for me to comment on it. But I will say that there are some obviously human-composed portraits of what are supposed to be Dogman that have been making the rounds for like 10, 15 years. And it's kind of like they keep bringing back the same animal, but they'll put, or the same posed whatever it is, in a different habitat or slightly different lighting, or they'll bring back the lighting and put. There was one recently, and I'm not saying this is the one she's talking about because I don't think that it is. But for example, there was one that showed kind of a farm-like setting in a barn, and then there was a creature that was obviously photoshopped out of the Harry Potter movies.
Oh my
And
goodness.
put in it with somebody, you were able to see exactly which it was. So I tend to be really, really cautious about these ones that pop up on the internet.
Right.
And again, without having seen this one, I really can't comment on it. It could be the one for all I know, but I have not seen it yet.
Well, I'm actually going to be posting it on our Facebook as we speak right now. So it'll be on the Facebook page of Paratalk Radio. So I'm pasting the link right now. So if anybody wants to watch it, you're welcome to. There you go, Linda. You can find it there too if you'd like. So you could watch it.
Kristen Holmes said that was my ex.
Oh,
Kristen, that was so funny.
nice. There is some more information on here about this. It says, let me get back to it here. It says, I'm going to get past this.
What does that mean? Robert White had said, quote, 100 Bigfoot nights, 200 shaver shop days.
I have no idea what that means.
I don't know what shaver shop means, Robert.
There is a video on there. Linda, if you go to it, there is a video. It says, she says, I shot this video from my bedroom window while standing on a chair. We were getting ready to leave, and I was waiting for my husband, she told Cryptozoology News. I know it is not the best video, and my son told me not to post it, but it is important to our story, she continued. I had the camera with me, so I decided to shoot a video of the forest. I could not see the creature because of the distance. I was shooting randomly. Later that night, I watched the video and noticed him running away. I recognized the Dogman immediately, she said. So there it is. So it's posted on our Facebook page, so you can take a look at it.
I take my browser down except for Skype when I'm on it because it really helps my Skype reception.
Right. No,
so
when you get time.
I can't go look it up right now.
Yeah, when you get time.
Yeah.
I will, definitely. I love to see them. Any pictures, I'm always glad to see. I always am so hopeful that this will be the one that shows it and really proves it. But it's just so hard to get all of those things that you need in order to have kind of a provable photograph. And that doesn't mean that the person who took the photo didn't see what they say. It's just that it's very hard to capture on film what the human eye is seeing at any given time.
Right.
So we've been sitting here, for any of you that's just joined, we've been sitting here talking with Linda Godfrey, who is the foremost authority on modern monsters and stuff. And we've been talking about the Dogman and a little bit about Bigfoot. But when we were talking about the scat and the fur and that stuff, lately we've been talking a lot about the conspiracy, especially with the UFOs and Bigfoot and stuff. Do you think that maybe when you turn in stuff like that, that maybe, for DNA or whatever, maybe they're told, by the government, don't give any information on it, maybe to say, oh, well, it was this and that. And do you find that maybe the government's playing a role in it?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I know for sure that there are law enforcement agencies that discourage it being anything about it being talked over or admitted. And in fact, I have a number of friends who are either in law enforcement now or retired, and I know one retired sheriff's deputy from southeastern Wisconsin who has actually seen several Dogmen and a couple of Bigfoot between his nightly rounds that he used to take at his work and his very remote forested property that he owns in Michigan. He has seen Bigfoot and Dogman, but he said the official word was that if you get such a report, you go there, you look around, you come back, you write down, I went there, I examined and found nothing.
Wow.
Now, I've already mentioned, and I've already mentioned the main path where we couldn't get the 911 released.
Right.
There was another incident where a Bigfoot was seen near Wildcat Mountain in the center of Wisconsin, kind of in that Washera area. And I called the local sheriff to have a talk with him. And he was sounded very angry that I called him, didn't want to tell me anything, denied it. He said, well, it was somebody wearing a ghillie suit or picking ginseng. That's something that does go on up there. And nothing else, couldn't be anything else. And I said, I'm going, but there was this and there was that because there were all these extenuating circumstances. And he just kind of hung up on me. Well, the very next morning, I'm standing in my living room with my husband and our little 5-year-old grandson at the time. And we had an acre of a backyard that sloped down into some woods and then led to a bunch of other wooded property kind of near a lake. And all of a sudden, there was this big buzzing sound, and this unmarked, dark blue helicopter came lifting up out of those woods and buzzed our backyard, almost took the roof off our house. It went right over our heads as we were standing there in the living room. And they are not, it was illegal for them to be flying that low, for one thing. Yeah. Now, tell me those two things weren't connected. And it never happened before, never happened after.
That's not a coincidence.
I'm waiting on a gentleman here, like you do the modern day monsters research and Bigfoot and all that stuff. And I just had a post come up on Periscope, and now I can't. On Periscope, unfortunately, their posts don't stick around. They actually do fade away.
Disappear.
But Yeah, the gentleman here, do you know anything about special forces killing or hiding a giant? Do you know anything about that?
Not for sure. It's just sort of something that I've heard of.
Kandahar, killed by
Actually,
special
I'm
forces.
flashing on.
Oh, in
Yeah, I'm
Kandahar?
kind of flashing on a story that I started researching. I'm sorry, just can't remember exactly how it went. But now that was that the Kandahar giant? That I'm thinking of?
Yes, that's what he's talking about, the giant in Kandahar. They said the special forces killed it, apparently.
Well, so that's one of
Yeah.
the things they've shown, that they believe that they can prove that giants did exist because they have actually found evidence. I don't remember
archaeology,
which
the bones and
archaeologist,
stuff.
the bones, yes. And they I watched a special on it, and they were literally trying to go back to where this original skeletal remains had been found. They were trying to find if there were more bones, but I don't know about the Kandahar one. So go ahead if you do. I'm sorry for interrupting.
Here's oh, no problem. Here's one that I do know a lot about, and for me, it's almost more convincing. And it's again in my own strange neighborhood here. I happen to live in just this area of weirdness. And if you go to lindagodfrey.com and you'll see that there's a search thing. Put in Delavan Giant, Delavan, like a van, like you would drive. Delavan Giant. Maybe just the word giant will do. There were Indian mounds by this lake called Delavan Lake in southeastern Wisconsin that in the late 1800s were dug up. It was owned by a circus family, and there was a big resort hotel there, and it was full of effigy mounds that were very sacred to the Native Americans. They came in all sorts of animal shapes. And one Sunday afternoon thing to do that was very popular at the time was to go dig up these Indian mounds and see what was in them and see if you could find arrowheads, which is horrible. It's
That
just
is terrible.
shocking to think that was done to all of these. But there were two of these round, and the round ones were more often to contain bones. Well, these two brothers that owned the place dug up two of them, and they found these huge, I think they were 7 to 8 foot tall, giant skeletons. And then there were a number of skeletons that were more like normal-sized people. This was actually in the New York Times at that time, but they got it kind of messed up. They had the numbers wrong and the number of things wrong. I actually was able to interview a very old historian from the area who knew about these brothers and knew a lot about it. The thing was, they removed those bones. They removed the giant skeletons and had them at their house in Delavan. And their house burned down. One of the brothers committed suicide, and the skeletons, which were gigantic and I believe had double rows of teeth, they were just like these giant skeletons that are found all over the United States, really, and very mysterious. And so the house burned down. The other brother committed suicide. I think he hung himself in their garage, and the skeletons disappeared. Supposedly, they were supposed to have gone to the Historical Society in Madison or the Smithsonian, but they were never. Their place has never been found. Nobody knows of the whereabouts. But many people in Delavan saw these giants.
Wow, I mean, I looked up this real quick. I looked this up about the Kandahar giant that was killed by special forces. There's actually a lot of information on here. In fact, they were saying that one of the fingers, now, if they killed this giant, they took it apart apparently. The finger is huge. I mean, they were talking 38 inches.
I remember that.
38 inches for
that's really big.
I mean, you think about 12 inches is 1 foot. That's 3 feet for one finger.
I'm sorry.
Sorry about that.
No, go ahead, Linda.
Most of the giants, I was just going to say, just for comparison, most of the giants found around the United States are 7 to 9 feet tall. But I don't know how tall you exactly would have to be for a finger that of that length. But you're right.
38 centimeters.
I'm getting
got it mixed up.
Yeah, I misspoke. It was 38 centimeters.
That's still
pretty good size.
yeah.
Yeah, that's the size. Yeah.
38 centimeters.
But yeah, this is, I mean, it's really true. There were so many burials that have been, and every once in a while they'll find another one. Most of them were, a lot of those mounds were plowed for farming. Unfortunately, it just is crazy. Here's another interesting statistic. I'll say 96% is the percentage that is known of the ancient animal-shaped effigy mounds are found in the southern half of Wisconsin, and nobody knows why that is.
Wow.
Yeah, it's funny because Robert.
And that's the ancient.
Go ahead. Sorry.
That's the ancient animal-shaped effigy mounds, which makes them really unusual and unique.
Robert just put a post up in the comments, and it is a story, an article. It says, Giant Mystery, 18 strange giant skeletons found in Wisconsin, sons of God, men of renown.
Yeah, that was part of this that I was looking at. But yeah, that's
wow.
still amazing. I mean, why did they find giants, in that area? I mean, Wisconsin?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Right, that's the Delaware one that I was talking about. That made
Yeah.
and there are many more, in this state and surrounding states and all over the place. They're still finding them.
Yeah.
Wow.
So it's like there were this other tribe or these other people that were huge compared to the native population that was there.
Right.
Wow. That's amazing. Okay, well, Linda, we have to take this time right now, and we have to give away your books. So
Yes.
we are going to ask our fan base to get your fingers ready to dial a phone number. And if you have a question for Linda, that would be great too. I'm sure that she would, if you have any questions, you could ask her. And then right now the phone number to call is 323-642-1102. We have about 23 minutes left of the show, so folks, you got to make your phone call right now at 232-642-1102. Call in and ask your question, and we will randomly, depending on who calls in, randomly pick you, and then we'll get your information and send it off to Linda so you can win yourself a book. And the name of the books, again, one of them is called American Monsters, which is a nonfiction book. And the second one is God Johnson, The Unforgiven Diary, which is a fiction book. Mm-hmm. So right now is the time to call. Again, folks, it's 323-642-1102. I think we'll take, for the first caller, we'll give away the first fiction novel for the first caller. You will get that one. And then... let's do third caller, do the American Monsters book.
Sounds good.
Sounds good. Sound good to you, Linda?
Start calling.
It does. It does. If they happen to not be a fiction fan and they'd like to have Hunting the American Werewolf instead, just let me know and I'll send that one instead.
Oh.
Okay.
Okay. All right,
that one
cool.
sounds like a great book too.
I know. We have got to get a couple of her books because we don't have them here. I would love to have to read a couple of her books. Oh, that'd be great.
Hey, Ray.
So we're sitting here talking with Linda Godfrey. Now's the time to call. Win yourself a book. She has some books on the American Werewolf.
Yeah.
Not the American Werewolf in London.
That's butts. We should take a quick commercial break because we've only done one, right?
Yeah, we should. Let's take a quick break.
So we'll take a quick commercial break. People call in, win books. We want to give away stuff to you.
323-642-1102. We're going to take a quick break, and then we'll be right back. Don't go anywhere.
Flashlight Recorder and Comfortable Shoes, a simple guide to paranormal investigation. Written by Keith Spratley and Ted Van Son. If you're looking to join the living who research the paranormal or the unknown, this book will guide you into developing your techniques. Reverend Tim Shaw says, the work will guide you along your journey to seek the truth about life after death. Available at Barnes & Noble and Amazon. And you can find a direct link on Paratalkradio.com. Get your copy today.
Since 1948, Fate magazine has captivated you with their true reports of the strange and unknown. But things just got better. Join host Todd Bates Sunday nights 6, 5 Central for Fate Radio. We bring you the best interviews, stories, and most of all, bring these true reports of the strange and unknown to life. Fate Radio with Todd Bates, Sunday nights 6, 5 Central at fatemagradio.com.
All right, awesome. I just want to say real quick now, I see here on your schedule, Linda, we've been sitting here talking with Linda Godfrey, sorry about that, and we're going to be giving away a couple of our books here. But real quick, I see that you're in June 29th and 30th, you're going to be at the Ghost Coast Paranormal Convention or Conference in Grand Haven, Michigan.
Grand Haven?
Yes, Grand Haven.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Now, do you have anything closer? Do you have anything that's before that? Before June?
I have the weekend of June 9th. I'm going to be up in Menominee, Michigan, and it's kind of a twin city with Marinette, Wisconsin, up on the UP-Wisconsin border, and there's an all-day-long Bigfoot conference that
cool.
day, which should be a lot
awesome.
of Bigfoot and other things. And then I'm also going to be later in August at the Michigan Paracon. I think that's the second. No, it must be the third weekend in August. You can look up miparacon.com and find that. And then I'm going to be in Frankfort, Kentucky in September. And there's a list of these. If you go to lindagodfrey.com, and then there's a book bio calendar page, you can find the links to those in the list right there.
Okay. So you said you're going to be in Kentucky. Now you're not going to be at Scarefest this year?
Those are the four. I've had to turn down about 5 different events, unfortunately, that I would really have loved to have gone to, just due to some family situations.
So maybe next year we can get you to Scarefest, because we're going this year. So maybe next year we can get you to meet up. I'd love to meet you in person.
Yeah, no, I've had to turn down. I would love that too. I've had to turn down some real. I was invited to speak at the Mothman Festival, which I've always wanted to do, and a couple of other things that really kind of hurt my heart to have to miss. But family things come first, and I've just have some important things that interfere, and so I do what I can, and go where I can.
There you go.
And that's why these shows are so great, because I can talk to people without leaving the relative comfort of my office.
Right.
So.
All right, Linda, we got our first caller. Who's on the line?
Hi, who's calling?
Hello?
Oh, they hung up.
They hung up.
They got disconnected.
Okay.
All
right, so let's go here. Here's our second caller. Hello?
It's the same person.
No.
Hello?
Cindy, can you hear me?
Oh, hey, Karen.
Hello?
Hi.
Yes. You can hear me now?
I can hear you. We have a winner.
Okay, Karen.
I'm like, no, I'm here.
Okay, did you have a question for Linda by any chance?
Yeah, actually I do. Hi, Linda.
Hi.
Hi, this is, been very interesting to listen to. And, I can only imagine what the government hides from us and all that. I mean, there's just so much going on. They probably don't want the world to go into a crazy state of panic. But, I've been doing a lot of studying, faith-based. And sometimes, I wonder, does the thought ever come across your mind that, it may be like a demon of some sort, like demonic, some sort of, creature created, from evil?
I've actually heard that from various people. The one I talked about earlier where the man saw it digging in the Indian mound at St. Coletta's, he called it a demon straight from hell. I've had other people describe it the same way. And I'm also very interested in the faith-based studies, and there's a lot of thinking that these have something to do with the creatures that will be loosed on the last day, when there are great battles supposed to be coming.
Yeah.
So there are different theories like this, and I've really been trying to educate myself on, so I can speak to that aspect a little more clearly, than I had. So it's something that I'm aware of and working on. And I tell you, I don't discount anything really, because who knows? We just don't know what these things are or what they're here for or what they intend. So, and I don't claim to know what they are either. Right.
That's just, that's just when, throughout listening to this conversation, that's just what kept going through my mind is, it just seems like evil entities maybe, and there's just so much talk lately and just so much going on, more and more and more activity throughout our entire universe that it just makes you think.
Yeah, it's something that actually goes through a lot of people's minds. I hear that quite frequently these days. So, and it's an old time belief too. It's not something that just came about. People have thought about this for a very long time. And it even reminds me of, Ragnarok, the Scandinavian mythology that talks about all the animals being unleashed on the last final battle and that sort of thing. So, yeah, it's something that I definitely am interested in, and I've written about it in different places. But
okay.
I think it's coming more to the forefront these days than it was.
Right. All right, cool.
All right, so which book are you interested in? The American... Oh, I'm sorry. Which book are you interested in, Karen? Are you interested in the American Monsters nonfiction book? Or the fiction book? Or Linda even said she had another one.
American
Werewolf
book.
I think the American Werewolf, right. Yeah, so you can have your pick.
I don't know. Based on my question, what do you think would interest me the best? Maybe the...
Gosh, it's hard to say. Yeah, I'm really just not sure.
Maybe the American, like the Monsters.
American. Okay, sure. I can send you American Monsters. That's my second to the most latest book. So I think you'll enjoy that. Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds like a great one. I was interested in that.
Cool.
Yes.
Okay, Karen, make sure you get the address sent to Cindy here in a message or whatever. Get a hold of us on Facebook. We'll get the address and we'll send that off to Linda.
Perfect.
Awesome. Cool.
And I'll put it in the mail. Thank you so much, Cindy. Great question.
All right, thank you.
Thanks, Karen.
Okay, so we're waiting on one more caller.
So I have to clarify. I was originally saying that, do it by your shares. The more you share, we're going to give one of the books away.
It's so hard to track
But
that.
I can't figure out how to do it by the shares, guys. It's different. On my page, my Facebook fan page, it lets me see who's shared it. But for some reason, I can't pull up who's shared it how many times. So I apologize. That's my fault. I thought I would be able to track it better than I'm able to. So
Right. I think that the easiest way to do it is just call in. I think calling in to win the book is the best route to go.
Yes. Just
that
call
way we don't
us.
have to do the work to try and track them with that. I know it's tough to do, but
it's really hard right now. So I apologize. Eric, call in to win it.
yes. And phone number again is 323-642-1102. And then off the air, we'll get your information. You can send it to us in a private message, and we'll get it off to Linda.
I see that it says that it's been shared 17 times.
Right, but just trying to figure out who shared it 17 times is the tough one.
I can't see it. And I know they've been telling me, hey, Noah, I didn't know you were watching. But yeah, it shows me. So Joelle, Truitt, or Eric,
anybody that wants to win this next book, call in.
323, I'm going to write it in here again too, 323-642-1102.
Yes.
Because they're like, you're saying it too fast.
Yeah, so
but I did type it in there, so I don't know why you guys aren't seeing it. So I did do it once. No, you could call in for a free book too.
Yeah, so any of you, just like on Periscope, I've already posted the phone number on there too. Again, I'll say it's 323-642-1102. And if you have a question for Linda, that would be great.
But keep on sharing our feed, even though I can't see who and how many. Please just go ahead and share away because that helps us. So I appreciate it, and Ted appreciates it.
Oh, yeah.
And John, though you can't see him and his chair is empty right now, he appreciates it.
So real quick, I just want to run through.
Thank you.
Sorry, I threw my pen at Cindy.
I was supposed to catch it, I guess. I didn't realize
So we
it.
had a caller dropped. Is that the same one from before?
I don't know.
All right.
Try calling again.
Try calling again. Anyways, I just want to mention again that this Thursday, May 17th, if you're in the area, you'll want to go to the Historic Palmyra Museum at 7 p.m. To join me and Cindy, because we will both be there. Paratalk Radio will be there. I'm actually doing a lecture and doing a book signing on my book, Flashlight Recorder and Comfortable Shoes. So make sure you stop in and check it out there.
Get a book, get it signed.
That's right. And if you have not gotten your tickets to June 9th to the...
Eric Harrison, it's okay. Someone else can get it. I don't have a very good signal. Oh, Eric!
To Haldeman Mansion.
Haldeman?
Yep, at Bainbridge, Pennsylvania. Cindy and I will both be there at Not Your Average Paracon. We will be there
That's right.
On June 9th, so make sure you get your tickets, and we'll see you there. And... all right. Well, I guess we can't. Nobody's calling here. What's going on, guys? Come on.
Eric said he can't call because he doesn't have a very good signal.
Really?
But I know that he's shared it a couple times.
Well, maybe.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Maybe I can help a little bit. The book Hunting the American Werewolf is the book that the very first episode of Monster Quest that was shot, although it was played at the end of the first season of Monster Quest, was based on this book. It was titled American Werewolf, and my book was titled Hunting the American Werewolf. I'm in it. Lots of the original witnesses are in it. Tons of great evidence. It was a really good show, and it was based on this book. And if you read the book, then you can make out which things whether they were talking about Bigfoot or upright canine in that episode, because they weren't always really clear as to which it was.
Okay, it looks like
that book is very.
Yeah, looks like we got another caller there. It worked, Linda. It worked. We got a caller. Who we got on the phone with us right now?
I thought
got the guy from down under.
Oh, Robert.
Hey, Robert.
Hello. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Oh,
pretty good down here.
I want
Yeah.
to mention my sandwich.
Do you have a question for Linda?
Yeah. If you're going out into the woods and are faced with some of these creatures that you've been mentioning today here, what would be the best defense against them? Would running away help, or would they just chase after you?
Well, I would assume they're like most predators. Now, in almost every case that I've personally heard from in 26 years, I know there are a couple of that are supposed to have been, massacred. But in every case I've known of, the people felt that the creature could have gotten them but didn't. What I tell people is to respect them like you would respect any predator in the woods, and just be aware. Try to quietly leave the area. You may have to walk backwards. Don't turn back on them. Don't run. And leave the area as quickly and quietly as you can. Don't wait and try and take a picture if you're putting yourself in danger or anything like that. Some people have stopped them.
Let's take a picture.
Work anyway. So, yeah.
I would think it would be the same thing.
Something like trail cams set up, though.
Right, trail cams.
Yeah, Robert, I would...
Have trail cams set up and have them taking photos of the creatures out there. That'd be useful at some stage.
Yeah.
Right, very much.
Well, I would imagine.
But, yeah, I've only had one person who had bodily harm in all these years, and he was up in Quebec, Canada, and met this thing on the trail, and it lunged past him with his mouth kind of open, and the fangs grazed his flank and his hip, and he had to go get stitches, and he told them it was a bear, because he didn't believe that, or he didn't think they would believe what it really was.
See what he saw. Yeah.
But he did not think that it was trying to kill him. He said at that distance, it could have just, bitten him in half in one swipe, and instead it just kept going.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Well, Robert, thank you for calling, but we can't let you in again so recently.
I know. That's what I was asking in the chat room. Yeah, I know.
I know.
That's fine, though. I just called up to say hi and to see how you were.
I'm
Ted,
so thankful that you do call. Yes.
Or Hot Toddy.
Sounds good. I'd give it a go.
Ted definitely would right now, just so he could have his voice back, for God's sake. Okay.
Yeah, that's fine. And Eric, bad signal strength is not a good excuse.
He's in freaking Australia, Eric. Come on.
That's right. You could be the next contestant on Paratalk Radio.
Well, thank you, Linda, for answering the question. And
Thanks
I'll
for
get
the
off here now
question.
and get back to the computer.
Thank you so
Thanks for
much,
calling.
Robert. I enjoy you so
Thank you.
much. You crack me up.
All
I'm so
right.
happy.
I can
Robert.
see every time that you read one of my posts, you laugh.
I do. You always know when I'm responding facially because you're making me laugh. Seriously.
All right. Thank you, Robert.
Take care.
Uh-huh. All right. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Perfect, Karen. That sounds good. She said she'll IM me.
Oh, perfect. Perfect. Well, we got one more book to give away, and you guys are,
Call me. Anytime, call me.
You're Blondie now.
Somebody caught on.
Yeah, I got it.
I could say a little bit more.
Okay,
I could
yeah.
say a little bit more about that book.
Go for it.
Yes.
In detail, this is the one that I wrote after the initial Beast of Bray Road, when I just got this flood of information, and had to have somewhere to put it. And so that was where the second book came from. And this is all across the U.S. So it's not just one locale, and it has a lot of theorizing and that kind of thing. The first time when I was just getting around to some of these ideas. And I think we'll fill in a lot of gaps for many people. And if nobody calls, hey, if you guys need one, I'll just send it to you.
Okay.
So I would give 30 seconds. If nobody calls in that time, then heck, I'm just going to send it to you guys. So
That'd be awesome.
and then you can share from.
We'll take it.
Yeah, we'll take it.
Screw our fans. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding, you guys.
Well, if they don't want to call, if you can't on a day when I can't give away a book, that's kind of bad. So if they're not going to call, we won't waste this.
It's actually it's getting later, so normally we are done by 10 o'clock.
Yeah, normally.
And
Yep.
so now we had 11, and now we're down to 9 right at the
so,
moment.
yeah, so
of people watching. So
Yeah, we've gone a little over our normal. So,
Yeah.
but it was cool. It was a great
What's
episode tonight. Great information about the Dogman, the whole thing. I thought it was amazing. I love having Linda on, and I don't mind spending the extra time doing that. But you guys only have like 2 minutes before we.
Sheila said, thank you. Sheila Auslander said, thank you, Linda Godfrey, for sending them the book. She's like, dang it, I'm glad I don't have to call in. But Robert asked what my favorite color was. My favorite color, I actually have 2. It's like lime green and orange. Those are my favorite colors right now. Or red or black.
Right.
Yeah.
All right. Well, since nobody wants to call in, we're going to take the book. So we'll have something to read.
Thank you, Linda. We will take it.
We'll put it right up here on our little collection of books.
But I'll probably read it first. So
Yeah,
before
she'll take it first. Yep. So,
It should answer a lot of the things you were asking me tonight. So.
Awesome.
Oh, Tim, just call in. Just call in.
You have to call in if you want the book,
Call in
Tim.
to get the book, Tim. I'm putting the phone number back up there. And there is a little bit of a hold, and you'll hear music or whatever. But just call in. You don't have to ask a question.
Right.
Hurry, call in fast.
Yeah, you have to call in to win. That's the way it is. You know, we want to talk to you guys.
Yeah.
Well, it is a paranormal show. Maybe, just mental telepathy will do it.
See, that's how I like to work, Linda, because that's what I do. I'm a psychic medium, so that's what I like to do.
Oh, okay.
60 seconds.
I don't know if Tim's going to be able to get in because that'll shut down, right?
No, it doesn't. She just talks, but we're good, so he can call in. It's just gonna.
Tim, call in. Do it.
That's it.
Do it, Tim.
I'm giving you a couple seconds.
I'll start telling stories of when we were young.
Uh-oh. That's not good.
No, and it's not that bad either, though. So he's like, I'm not worried.
Yeah. All right, so
Yes, Chanel says I've won too many times. Chanel, you are like.
She's awesome.
You and Robert are like awesome.
Yeah, they're our favorites.
Awesome sauce.
We're going to have to send them both some stickers for Paratalk Radio stickers. We're going to send one to Linda, too.
Yes. Linda.
All right, so here's our...
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah, cool. Here's our phone caller. Who we got on the line?
10 seconds.
Hey, it's Tim.
Hey, Tim! He was worried I might tell a story.
How you doing?
Good. How are you, buddy?
Not doing too bad. Glad to see you up here. It's been a long time.
I know. I'm so excited.
Okay. So did you have a question for Linda, or you just want to win the book?
He told me, he said, I don't have a question, but I just want to win the book. We'll give you the book, man.
Yeah. You can at least say hi to Linda.
Please. Hey, Linda.
Hey there, Tim. Thanks for calling in. I feel better now, at least.
Not a problem. I was watching. I'm watching. I was listening.
Thank you very much. No problem. I'll get one signed, and just make sure you leave your address with them, and I'll get it out to you.
Yep, we'll get it both out to you.
Appreciate it.
Awesome. Thank you
All right.
so much.
Thank you, Tim.
Good, Tim. Thanks for calling in. I appreciate it. We'll have to get together one of these days.
Thanks.
All right.
Yeah, for sure.
All right. Thanks,
well,
Tim.
Tim, just make sure you IM me, and then give me your address
All right,
so we
I
can
will.
get it for her, okay?
All right.
All right, bye, sweetie. Take care.
You too. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Ah, amazing. That's
Yay!
finally, yay! God.
We
Yeah,
never had to work so hard to give away.
I know, we even had our guest work hard for it. I mean, come on, how hard is it to give away a book? Jeez, you guys. Jeez.
Sure.
Jesus.
We're gonna have to give some.
I feel kind of embarrassed.
Listen, I was so excited that we were going to get the book, actually.
So was I, because I wanted to
It's
read
all
it
right.
too.
It's
So.
okay. I'm glad Tim got it.
Yeah, me too. Just so...
Oh my God, Robert is hysterical. He's going, good going, Tim. Then she can stalk you, Tim. Listen, I'm only a friendly neighborhood stalker. What? It's fine. I'm going to stalk you too, Robert, because I want to see your jewelry.
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
Heck yeah.
Yeah. All right. So we've been sitting here talking with Linda Godfrey. It's been an amazing
oh my
evening.
God. I have had so much fun. This has been so good.
And we've
been
learned a lot tonight. It's just amazing. You know, next week's show at 8 o'clock right here on Paratalk Radio, we are going to be talking with two couples. Yes, Jay and Marie Yates. They lived in a house that was haunted, and it actually terrorized them. And we're going to be talking to them. And we're also going to be talking to Bill Hartley from Shepherdstown. We're going to be talking to Bill Hartley and his better half, Carissa Fleck.
We're going to get him.
They're married, actually, now, I think.
We're going to get him to maybe put in a good word to the sheriff so we could go and see him.
You're terrible.
I'm pandering. I'm fine with it. I said I would do that.
Yeah,
I'm fine with it. And I could just smile and wink, maybe.
Wink your eyes. What if I showed some leg?
Wink.
Would that help? They probably run away.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding,
I'll
folks.
show some arm.
There you go. Okay, don't forget, guys, that just today we found out that we are on Google Play. We're on iTunes, TuneIn, Mixcloud, Facebook Live, Paratalk Radio, and Periscope TV. So there's
Blog
plenty
Talk
of ways.
Radio.
Yeah, so there's plenty of ways for you guys to get a hold of us or to check it out. We're not just audio, we're also video.
So, Linda, what we're going to have you do is if there's a link that you can put so we can put it up for the link to your books.
LindaGodfrey.com.
Okay, so perfect, because I have people asking where they can buy your books from, Linda.
They can buy them on Amazon too, I believe,
Yeah.
right,
Yes.
Linda? Yeah.
And Robert said most likely on
Yes, they're all
Amazon.
available on Amazon.
Perfect.
Barnes and Noble. You could there's a books and bio page if you just there is no www. It's just lindagodfrey.com. It takes you to my blog, and you'll find tons of other stuff there.
Awesome.
Hi, Brenda.
Awesome.
Karen's sister came on, and it didn't pop up here that she had joined in, so I can't see her that she popped in. But hi, Brenda. It's been a long time since I've seen you.
Yeah. So, all right, everybody. Well, Linda, it's been great as usual.
Thank
I mean,
you.
we had another great evening with you, and you finally got to meet Cindy, which is good. And hopefully, we'll run into you in one or two of these events, either at the end of the year or next year. It'd be great to finally meet you.
Yes, that would be awesome. I'm so excited. I can't wait to meet you, actually, because we talked about this before, that
Right.
the Wolfman, the Dogman, that I kind of really like that thought.
So do I.
I like that idea.
Yeah.
I like it a little better than the...
Sounds great.
Yeah, Bigfoot. I like it a little better than Bigfoot.
All right, Linda, thank you again. I will send you that information. I'll email you their addresses, and we'll be all set. But thank you again for being a guest on Paratalk Radio.
Yes, thank you, Linda.
It was wonderful. I'll have to just come back. We'll do more.
Oh, we're definitely
Yes.
having you back. As long as you want to
Hell
come
to the
back,
yeah.
you're coming back.
Yes, indeed.
Excellent. Thanks again so much.
Yeah, thank you so
Okay.
much.
Good
Thank
night.
you, Linda.
Thank
Good night.
you, everybody,
Thank
for watching and listening.
Good night.
you. It was great having Linda on the show. It was
Indeed.
amazing. What's this Indeed stuff? But anyway.
I always say indeed.
Indeed.
Indeed. You know, people are driven nuts by some of the words that I use. Whence is a word that I use often, and people.
What
like,
about wench?
Whence? From whence?
From whence you came. Yes, from whence you came. So, but anyways, I gotta say,
Jennifer Rose.
so next week is gonna be awesome. We're gonna be talking to those two couples. That'll be the first time we have two couples on the phone at the same time,
That's
talking about their
awesome.
experiences.
Listen, I still can't wait for the
Oh, I
August
know.
show when we have
Jeez.
two different people.
Oh, Chip
fangirling.
Coffey and Grant Wilson. Yep. That'll be a good one.
Yes.
And Mungie's not that far down the road either for us. So his show's coming up too. So I'm just really impressed with the way, our fan base is. And we want to keep going, man.
Yes,
Keep going.
and Stitches is Niagara Falls, and it's May 27th.
May 27th,
I did see
so.
the date.
Right. So,
Diana, thanks for being here too.
Yep,
Robert,
thank you so much.
Tim, Kelly, we love you guys.
yeah, we are so thankful we have a
Karen.
good fan base. And please keep
keep sharing.
sharing, keep posting, inviting.
And remember, check your bums.
Oh my God, that's terrible.
That's a colonoscopy. PSA.
For yous that don't know.
For yous that don't
For
know.
yous.
For yous.
Yeah. I gotta get our producer. I'll be right back. So go ahead and talk to them.
So, Cindy, that's what Karen just said to me. Yeah, guys. So I'm really happy that you guys were here, and I'll just keep mumbling and keep talking, and I'll just keep going on until our producer gets in here to turn the show off. Well, guys, thank you so much. Diana said Ted. don't forget to turn off the cameras. Right, like what was it, last week?
Yeah.
We were still on for quite a while after or something.
Right. It's just,
fine,
I've been
it's
under the
fine.
weather, so, it's one of those things. But
Yeah. Hey, did your headache go away?
it did go away.
I gave him some goodies headache powders, and
It did go away.
good.
So it was great.
Good.
All right, guys.
Jennifer Rose says, unless your colon is haunted.
It's terrible.
Yes, I did say you don't want anything creepy up there, so that's why you got to get it checked.
It's terrible. All right, you guys, thank you so much for joining us again. We do appreciate it. And we will see you next Monday when we talk with those people about their hunting, and then the gentleman from Shepherdstown.
Heck yeah,
it'll
the
be a
whole
great
town.
show. So make sure you tune in next week. Paratalk Radio, 8 p.m. Wherever there is darkness, there is always delight. You've been listening to Paranormal Talk right here on Paratalkradio.com. Catch us again next Monday at 8 p.m. Eastern and 7 p.m. Central, where we will bring you another fantastic guest. Thank you to our sponsors and J. Wolf Productions. Be safe, be good. Until next time, remember, wherever there is darkness, there is always delight. Paratalkradio.com.